news to go through. There is so much to talk about that we are sort of drowning a little bit here. Like trying to get everything written down for us to talk about. I've literally got like a whole page of notes. Normally I'm sat here with like a couple of lines, like a few things to preview and a few things to talk about. Not today. Today we are absolutely drowning. There's so much news. So let's try and go through this step by step because, as we said, there's so much to go through. I fully expect people jumping in the chat saying, have you heard this? Have you heard that? Which is cool. And there's a good chance that we have heard it. Of course, there might be a chance that we haven't because there just is so much news today. If you've been a little bit out of the loop with what's been going on, then that is understandable, perfectly fine. This is the fast-moving world of WWE and AEW, in all fairness. So let's get straight to it. So, obviously, we've got some superstars that have been released. That's quite shocking from WWE. Currently, the names that I can find include Alexander Wolf, which was a big shock. I wasn't expecting that. We saw Alexander Wolf lose just last night. And so Alexander Wolf has been released. Drake Wirtz, who is obviously the controversial referee, that's not going to surprise too many people. So Alexander Wolf, Drake Wirtz, Jessamine Duke. I was really surprised by this one. She's obviously one of the 4 horsewomen. So Jessamine Duke, I think, is quite a surprise. Obviously, we don't quite know what's happening with Marina Shafir. We don't know what's happening with Ronda Rousey. Shayna Baszler is on the main roster. Those 4 collectively are known as the 4 MMA horsewomen. So I was really expecting Ronda to come back one day and for them to do something with those women. I think WWE has been waiting for the same, to be honest. I honestly think that Jessamine Duke in particular has only had a job because of the potential of doing something with the MMA horsewomen. Obviously, Marina Shafir is Roderick Strong's wife, so there's potential to do something with her there. Shayna Baszler is just a star on her own, but Jessamine Duke's never really got going. So, yeah, I'm kind of surprised, but then kind of not surprised. But who knows? If ever they need her, they can always try to bring her back, of course. That's not going to help, surely, the relationship with Ronda, thinking about it. I don't think it's going to spoil anything massively, but it's not going to help. We've also got Vanessa Bourne. Vanessa Bourne has been released. She used to hang out with Aaliyah in NXT. She had, like, big afro hair. And I think she even got called up at one point, but it was very low-key. And I'm sure she was doing some stuff on the main roster. Haven't seen her in NXT forever. Certainly haven't seen her on the main roster forever. She's like one of those names. She's a little bit like Kaden Khan, a little bit like Casey Catanzaro. You know, she's kind of one of them women that never really got anywhere in NXT. And if she was going to be called up, it was going to be to job out, really. I suppose in a way, she's kind of like Deonna Purrazzo. Deonna Purrazzo was very similar. She never really did much in NXT, but she made a few main roster appearances, and they ended up cutting her. She's gone to Impact and made a big impact over there. So could Vanessa Bourne go to somewhere like Impact and do a job? Certainly. Whenever she was in the ring, she looked all right. But again, you know, just not given much of an opportunity. This is a big surprise. Kavita Devi. Kavita Devi is the first Indian-born woman to sign with WWE. Now, apparently all of these are happening because of budget cuts. But Kavita is someone that was a big prospect. She was meant to be at Superstar Spectacle, but something went wrong. I don't know if she had an illness, but something went wrong where she didn't appear. So they replaced her with someone else. And so she wasn't at Superstar Spectacle, but she was meant to be one of the big names that was going to be there. And I say big names. They obviously had a lot of big plans for her. Obviously, stuff has gone on behind the scenes. I don't know what. I don't know if if she's asked for her release because she's not really getting anywhere. I don't know if WWE have looked at her and they've come to realise she's not quite where they thought she was. But I mean, releasing Indian stars right now just seems so strange, because you would honestly think they would have plans for like Indian stars. So I'm very, very surprised. Very surprised that they got rid of Kavita, because that superstar spectacle was seen by a lot of people, and you would imagine that Indian-born stars right now, there could be something for them. They could do something with them. So I was surprised by that one. Ezra Judge. I don't know this person. I don't think we ever saw him. So he was down in NXT. There's a few people that never even made it onto TV. They were just Performance Center signees, and I think Ezra Judge might have been one of those. Jake Clemens was a referee who we would see from time to time. Skylar Story was Brandy Lauren, who used to be in Evolve, and she was one of the women that I was saying could have been in that original Retribution when we didn't see their faces and we were trying to figure out who it is. Because you might remember when Retribution started, WWE had bought Evolve, so we were trying to make out who is this new Retribution group. And obviously it turned out to be a load of NXT stars. But when they were in masks and we couldn't quite tell who they were, a lot of them looked very similar to like some of the Evolve stars. I think that they were just like NXT talents that we don't normally see. And there's a chance that she may have been one of them. I genuinely don't know. I still haven't heard anything. But either way, she was signed and from Evolve and hasn't been used and has now been released. And I think that's it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8 people that have been released today from WWE. Obviously, awful news. Outside of, like, say, Alexander Wolf, Jessamine Duke, maybe Vanessa Bourne, they're not the biggest names. Not that that matters. People have still lost their jobs. So it doesn't matter about that. But, yeah, I mean, there's some surprises in there. I'm surprised that they've parted ways with that Kavita woman. I'm surprised Alexander Wolf. I mean, he was in Sanity, and he seemed to be doing an alright job in Imperium. Like, I don't know. He sent a tweet out saying that his contract expires, I think, June 15th. So he will be free to take bookings from June 16th. So it doesn't seem like there's like a no-compete clause. Like no 90-day no-compete. It seems like once his contract has properly expired, then he can take bookings. So, yeah, he's said goodbye, basically. He's confirmed it all and everything. So that has come from Alexander Wolf. So obviously he lost last night, and now we've had all this news break through today. So that is one of the big stories, because there's another big story, which is the fact that AEW Dynamite is moving. Dynamite moves to TBS on January 2022. So January coming, Dynamite moves to TBS. Now, I don't know, there's no information about other countries. However you watch it outside of America, I'm guessing it's going to stay the same. Unless you watch it on TNT, then it's moving. I don't know what this means for the TNT Championship. But saying that, they are also bringing in a second show. The second show airs on August 13th. August 13th on TNT. AEW gets its second show. AEW Rampage. AEW Rampage starts August 13th, 10 p.m. On TNT. And that means they'll have Dynamite on a Wednesday. They will have Rampage on a Friday at 10 p.m., which I think is immediately after Smackdown. So they've got Dynamite on a Wednesday. They've got Rampage on a Friday. Dynamite will move to TBS in January. So until the end of the year, we'll have those two shows on TNT. And then what will happen is you'll have Dynamite on TBS, you'll have Rampage on TNT, and then they're going to bring in 4 special shows, TV specials for TNT. So TNT will get 4 special AEW shows a year, as well as Rampage, and TBS gets Dynamite. I don't know how this deal has been worked out. I don't know if TBS and TNT are connected in any way. I don't know if this is Dynamite saying goodbye to TNT to a degree. Obviously, they've got a second show on TNT, so they're not totally saying goodbye. But I don't know if TNT and TBS are connected. So it's very interesting. Very interesting what's going down in AEW town. And then obviously they've got all of their kind of dark shows that they do, like Dark Elevation and Dark, which they do on YouTube. That's kind of, for me, separate. I never pay it any attention. But these 2 shows, I think, certainly seem like they're going to be pushing the narrative forward. So a second AEW show being brought in on called Rampage on a Friday in August. Woo! How that is big news, isn't it? Big news. So we've got the releases that we've just spoke about. We've got the movement with the AEW shows that we've spoke about as well. And there's other news as well. There's loads of bits. There's new AEW figures that have been shown. I honestly have just been writing all this down, so I don't have those images kind of lined up to show you, but you can easily find them if you go to AEW's Twitter account, and I can certainly tell you who the figures are of, and then you'll be able to look at them. I might even be able to quickly show you some on my phone, actually, and just do it that way. Matthew Lopez, shout out to you, buddy. Appreciate the support. See if I can find AEW. Here we go. So, here we go. If I do this. Now, I'm going to see if I can. Okay. It's not going to look brilliant, some of these. But, oh. Didn't want that to happen. Here we go. Let's go back to them. Now, that is it's just going to give you a rough idea. I don't know if it's going to actually pick them up and zoom in, but we've got Jake Hager there. We've got a Chris Jericho, which looks kind of cool with the shade. Oh, yeah, that's good. Now it's focused. There's Chris Jericho with the shades. There is Pentagon, which looks kind of cool. We've got Phoenix. Another Jericho. And there we go, shifting to TBS in 2022. I think that might be it, actually. Oh, no. Here's the look at the ratings ruler, MJF. So MJF as well. Is that all of them? And Shida. There we go. And another. God, there's loads. Hager, Shida. I think. Is there 2 separate Shidas? Or are they the same? Can't quite tell if there's 2. I think they're the same Shidas. So, that's all of them. So, Shida, Hager, another Shida, which we think is the same. MJF. This is so hard to do when I'm not even looking at my phone. Jericho, Phoenix, Penta. That's a great Jericho. I do love that one. And then that is a rare Jake Hager, who's got like an Inner Circle shirt on that looks very similar to Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction album cover. Boom. Right, let's go up. Joaquin said, Days, do you think AEW will have a draft? I don't think so. Both TNT and TBS are Turner channels, says Brad. Thank you. No, I'm not sure they're going to have a draft, to be honest. I mean, one show's 2 hours. The other show looks like it's going to be an hour. So, yeah, I'm not expecting a draft. They could do a draft, but I'm not expecting one. Do you know if Vince is the one that fired the NXT people? The rumor is that the people have been fired because of budget cuts. It's hard to know if it's Vince that's fired them or it's Triple H that's fired them. I would imagine Vince has said to Triple H, you need to trim your budget. You need to hit this. And so, Triple H has probably looked at it and, maybe it is just a case of that. I mean, I'm sitting here saying I'm really surprised they've got rid of Kavita. I'm really surprised that Alexander Wolf has gone. I'm really surprised that, Jessamine Duke, who's been around for a while and is a four horsewoman. I'm surprised she's gone as well. But in a way, if they've got a budget and they're over budget, you're going to have to cut people. And these are the people that Triple H... I mean, I'd imagine Triple H gets the say, in truth. I can't imagine Vince has come in and gone, right, that person, because he doesn't quite know what Triple H is booking or what Triple H has got planned, or, he's going to have to take Triple H's word as to who is good in the Performance Center. So, ultimately, Vince signs it off, but I would imagine that these particular cuts have probably got Triple H's name on more. Days report saying Money in the Bank won't be the first show with fans. It will be the Smackdown before Money in the Bank. From then, fans should be back full time. Nick Khan did say. Cool. I've got a pay-per-view schedule that was on a Peacock advert as well. So this has been shown on Peacock, so not all of us will have seen this advert. But it's... So, I mean, honestly, when they play it, it might have been something that was shown on, Raw or SmackDown, but whenever those Peacock ads come on, BT Sport usually cut away from them, so I don't always see them. So I'm not sure if you will have seen this advert or not, but apparently it's something to promote what's happening on Peacock, and they list the forthcoming WWE pay-per-views as Hell in a Cell, followed by Money in the Bank, then it's SummerSlam. So those would be our next three. Hell in a Cell, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam. Then we've got Clash of Champions. Then we've got Extreme Rules. Then we've got Survivor Series. The image they use for Survivor Series says best of the best, or best versus the best. One of the bests is in red, the other is in blue, which suggests that there won't be NXT involved again. Granted, NXT wasn't involved last year, so it's not the biggest surprise in the world, and that graphic could always be there as a stopgap. They might not have decided, but currently there's nothing there to suggest that NXT is going to be a part of Survivor Series, because it has been in the past. But as we said, could always just be a stopgap. So Survivor Series, then we've got TLC, then we've got Royal Rumble, then we've got Elimination Chamber, then we've got Fastlane, and then we've got WrestleMania. So I wouldn't say there's too many surprises there. It does list Money in the Bank as being after Hell in a Cell. Clash of Champions is listed as well. But really, other than that, I don't think there's really too many surprises. I think the rest of that is pretty much what you would have expected. But that was on an advert from Peacock. So we've done the AEW figures. We've done the new show. We've done the pay-per-view schedule. More Ruthless Aggression is on the way as well. So apparently they're making more of that. They said, because on this same advert, it said the return of Ruthless Aggression, which I thought was a very good series. So it looks like they're looking to bring that back as well. And then just tonight, really, is the other bit that I've got. Obviously, we're building towards Double or Nothing, which is not that far away. I think it's like the 30th of May. So we're getting ever closer towards Double or Nothing. But tonight, we've got Anthony Ogogo taking on Austin Gunn. We've got Hikaru Shida taking on Rebel. We've got the Young Bucks taking on the Varsity Blondes. We've got the Acclaimed taking on Moxley and Kingston. We're going to hear from the new TNT champion, Miro. Christian Cage taking on Matt Sydal. And the Inner Circle respond to the Pinnacle. So we've got all that happening also. The other thing that I've got written down is about Mia Yim. So Mia Yim, I got this from Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful. They reported that they found out what Mia Yim was going to be doing on SmackDown, and this is very interesting. So apparently Mia Yim was meant to debut on SmackDown. Don't know if she was going to debut as Reckoning or not, but she was going to debut on SmackDown, and she was going to be facing Carmella. So she was going to be facing Carmella and starting a feud with Carmella, but they had to cancel it. And the reason they cancelled it was because it was the week of the throwback episode, and they had to fit in throwback clips. So the clips of classic SmackDown moments replaced Mia Yim making her debut on SmackDown. Now, I don't mind that. I liked that throwback episode, and I'm all for those clips being shown. It's a bit strange that they went with the clips over debuting Mia Yim. It's not great. It doesn't suggest they've got like this big plan for her. Doesn't suggest that she's going to be this big star if some video clips can replace her on a show. So I do definitely feel sorry for her, but hopefully they can, bring her in, get her up and running. Maybe we'll see her on Friday. Maybe she'll start on Friday. Now that we're past WrestleMania Backlash, maybe we see her Friday. We start the ball rolling, and we get Mia Yim up and running. And apparently it's going to be a feud with Carmella that we're going to see there. So we could see her coming in. But what was extra interesting about that story was the fact that apparently it was Fox that demanded a throwback retro episode, and it was Fox that wanted those video clips being in the show. Do you remember we've spoken quite a bit about how involved Fox is compared to how involved the USA Network is? And we've said that, in my opinion, that's why SmackDown is a better show than what Raw is. I kind of feel like SmackDown has got parents. I feel like SmackDown is Vince's child, but it's got proper parents looking after it in Fox. Whereas Raw is Vince's other child, and the parents have just done one. Like, I think the parents are passed out around the neighbours or something, and like Raw is just free to do whatever it wants, and it's a creative dumpster fire basically. So like no one is going, that's a stupid idea, don't do that. And so as a result, like, we're just getting, rubbish given to us, and no one is sorting Raw out. There's no one saying that's not acceptable. There's no one keeping Raw in line. Raw needs parents, I tell you. So SmackDown certainly seems like it's being looked after a little better. And apparently it was Fox that wanted that throwback episode. I like that episode. I'm such a fan of that kind of stuff anyway. And I love clips from, going back in the day. So it was great to see those clips. But weird that they got in the way of a Mia Yim debut. And honestly, if it was that big of a deal, they would have just shifted it to the next week. It's been a good few weeks now since that episode, and we still haven't seen her. So I could only imagine they just parked it till we got WrestleMania Backlash out the way, and then, there's a good chance we'll see her on Friday. So, yeah, that as well. Andres Lopez says, Days, Tony Storm's new finisher should be called the Storm Breaker. Harley says, why do you think they would have fans come back on SmackDown before Money in the Bank instead of Money in the Bank? Do you think the show where maybe Becky returns or something? I think they will probably look to bring fans back as soon as they can, to be honest. If they can get fans back, then I think they would try to get fans back as soon as. If they can get fans back for that SmackDown, then yeah, they might plan to have some big, moment. But I don't know if they're... It's hard to know what comes first, isn't it? I mean, is it a case that they've booked it and they want the fans specifically for that show because they've got something big planned? Or have they found out that that's the show they can have fans back at the earliest, and so now they can look to book something big for that show? So it's hard to know which one has come first there. So we'll find out. I'm certainly not going to really sit and start speculating about who could be coming in and all this kind of stuff. I think we all know as soon as fans are coming back. Well, I think we're all hoping that as soon as fans come back, the quality level, more on Raw than SmackDown, drastically increases. So I don't care when they come back. I just want them back. Walker Danger said, did you watch the A&E documentary about Shawn? Yes. The episode was quite good. I feel bad for Marty. He was hurt when Shawn went off on his own. It was very interesting. There was a moment in there where apparently Roddy Piper was being a bit off. So he came into the hotel room, and I'm not so sure. I don't know why Roddy did this. I kind of feel like in the wrestling world, manners and caring about other people's feelings, certainly back in the day, I'm just not sure it was something that existed, to be honest. Because apparently Roddy Piper walked into the hotel room, went up to Shawn, and he was like, you've got to go on your own. You've got so much talent. Like, you know, you've got to go as a solo star. But he said this whilst Marty's in the room. And apparently he turned around to Marty and went, we've got some work to do with you. I mean, like, I could understand Roddy saying that sort of thing to Shawn on his own, backstage, maybe in Roddy's room, maybe at a bar. To do it in front of Marty, I just thought it was really harsh. Really, really harsh. So, yeah, I thought that was one of the... There's loads... We were talking about the Macho Man episode and some of the stuff that was in that. That was one of the things I took away from the Shawn Michaels biography episode, and it was like, it's a bit moody, isn't it? It's a bit moody. But then I do think it's been a bit harsh on Marty Jannetty, but I think Marty Jannetty's, you know, only got himself to blame, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I do think that he was maybe not as talented as Shawn, but Marty had demons just like Shawn did, but Shawn was able to turn up to the shows and have his matches, and when he had his matches, he was one of the best. Marty was not always able to get to the shows, and he was not always able to compete, and he got suspended time after time after time after time. And, you know, it's such a fine line, because I think both of them, watching that documentary, had real addictions and personal problems and lots that they were going through. Like, I think they were on the road a lot, they were partying hard a lot, I think they were living a fast lifestyle, and I think there was a lot of drugs involved, but Shawn just managed to keep making it to the shows. And even if he might not have been in the greatest of shapes, and even if backstage he was a wreck, he was still able to go out and perform and be Shawn Michaels. Marty wasn't. Marty was a wreck and was missing shows and was passing out in locker rooms and was just a mess. He was a mess. I don't know if Marty wasn't able to deal with it as well, or if his addictions and things were more severe and were even worse than Shawn's. But it does make you think, if Marty could have done what Shawn did, if Marty could have turned up to the shows all the time, been on time, gone out and performed, and done exactly what he could do to the best of his abilities, where would Marty have got? I don't know, because I don't think the narrative... I think Shawn would have been a bigger star. I think the Heartbreak Kid gimmick was very cool, and I think that Shawn is a very special talent. Marty, I don't think would have been as good in the ring. I don't think his gimmick would have been as cool, but I still think he would have gone on to have had a very good career. You know, like Edge and Christian. You know, I think that Shawn was Edge, and I think Marty was Christian. Well, Christian's still gone on to have a very good career. You know, he still went on to be a world champion, and honestly, who knows what Marty would have achieved. So I do feel sorry for Marty, but I do think he had like big demons, and I do think that he was his own worst enemy as well. Jannetty screwed Jannetty, says Esteban. I got to watch those A&E biographies. Sounds like they don't hold back, says Alexander. They do. They really don't. I mean, the Macho Man one in particular is quite in depth and detailed with like how controlling and paranoid he was. The Shawn one really goes into his like drug addictions, and I mean, hearing Shawn Michaels talking about doing cocaine is very weird. I mean, like, we all know that they did steroids and did drugs, and we know that there was drugs and women and parties and all this kind of stuff. That's no surprise. But it is still very weird to hear him sitting down and talking about that. And something like, I mean, like, cannabis is cannabis, yeah? It's legal in, like, quite a few states now, so whatever. But hearing him talk about something like cocaine, which, can destroy lives, and hearing that, he was going to shows and he was getting paid £50 in cash and £50 in blow, is like, wow. I mean, they don't hold back. They don't sugarcoat anything at all. And they've been very interesting, very detailed. But maybe they haven't been the love letter to the superstars that you would want. Like, they did, I mean, with the Shawn one, they do talk about the ladder match, and they do talk about his match against The Undertaker at WrestleMania 25. So they do touch on, like, key moments, and they do look at him winning the championship at WrestleMania 12 and whatever. But I would say those are only, like, fleeting moments in the biographies. I think they really try to reveal what's happening behind the scenes, and that is why the Ultimate Warrior one this weekend is unmissable. The Ultimate Warrior one on Sunday is just, I cannot wait. I cannot wait, because I want to hear from his family what they... I mean, obviously Dana Warrior's going to put a positive spin on things. I can't imagine that she's going to lay into him. I would imagine that she's going to, try and put the positive spin on stuff. But, she's going to have spent many nights on her own. She's going to have, had to deal with a lot of stuff. And I would imagine that she'll still reveal some of those things. I don't know if we hear from the kids, his daughters, or not. I mean, I don't want this to be a hit job, because we've already seen that. The self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior DVD is out there. So I'm not so much looking for that, but I'm looking for a bit more behind the scenes than what we've seen before. I'm looking for any of those stories that we got from, like, the Shawn or the Macho one, things we haven't heard before. What I would really love is I would love to watch it, hear about all this stuff, but actually leave the biography and leave the episode really appreciating the Warrior again. I want to get that feeling back, because it's gone for me. It's gone for me. When I think about legends, and we talk about legends, we never talk about the Warrior, because he was such a bad person, a nasty person who said and did horrible things. And I would love to hear from his family and hear some good stories. I actually don't want it to be a hit job. I would like to hear the truth. But I can't wait. I can't wait to, like, find a bit more out about him, and I really hope I walk away from it loving the Warrior again, because he was one of my favourites as a kid. So looking forward to that. So looking forward to that on Sunday. That's going to be huge. Andres Lopez says A&E Warrior on Sunday, and then Darkseid Warrior episode the following Thursday. Well, I mean, look, they're going to be very different, aren't they? Because the Darkseid Warrior episode, they are focused on the dark side, and they might highlight its importance, but they're just going to really lay in. They're not going to pull any punches. They're there to talk about the dark side. So I would imagine that one is going to be difficult to make you... I should imagine if you see Dark Side of the Ring, it's going to be hard to walk away from that feeling good about the Warrior. I think the A&E one is going to try and balance it a little bit more, and we already know that they speak to his family, and his family are not going to throw him completely under the bus, are they? His family love him, and they're not going to completely lay into him, but I'm sure they've still got some horror stories. I'm sure there's some stuff that they're going to mention that we don't know about. So it's going to be a very interesting week. The Darkseid one, I must admit, I personally don't know that I'm care that much for the Darkseid episode. I love Darkseid. I think it's a great series. But I think I know quite a bit about the Warrior stuff. I don't know there's anything they're going to tell me that's going to surprise me that much. Who knows? Maybe they will. But I'm more excited for the A&E one. I'm more interested in hearing from his family, to be honest. He was such a secretive person, wasn't he? I mean, like the Warrior with his promos. He in a way, he was a little bit like the Undertaker, like very protective of his character. And I understand that when he left wrestling, he opened up a lot more. But those aren't. He didn't really open up. He opened up at a time when the internet was still early in its infancy. So it's not as if he's been going on to like Cultaholic or Wrestle Talk or What Culture or Chris Van Vliet or, you know, all these kind of YouTube channels. It's not like he's been doing all these and firing his mouth off, shooting his mouth off about how much he hates WWE or whatever, or, you know, coming out with controversial stuff. Like, I kind of feel that when he was speaking out, it was done like before like the internet was as widespread as what it is now. So even though a lot of it was covered in like the Self-Destruction of the Warrior documentary, the Self-Destruction of the Warrior DVD, I kind of feel like it was done before a lot of people was like engaged online. So I kind of feel that you can move on from it. I think for me personally, there's not a lot of stuff in there that is going to be a surprise, but that's why the A&E biography, where we hear from the family, is going to be more interesting to me. So, but I will watch both, make no mistake about that. Jacob Fox says, I watched every single video of you going to Smith's and finding action figures. Jacob, shout out to you, buddy. Appreciate the support. I do want to do more of those videos. We'll do a toy hunt soon, but I just haven't quite figured out when. Warrior has got a YouTube channel, says Jim Gore. I didn't know that. I've never seen that. Is that still active, Jim? I've never, ever been onto that YouTube channel. Let's have a look. What do you search? What would I even search? Warrior? WWE? I mean, that's not going to... I don't know. I don't know what I would even search to try and find that, to be honest. If I put in Warrior WWE, then unsurprisingly, it brings up lots of Warrior related videos, but nothing for a channel of his. I don't know. I've never seen that channel. I'd be very interested in seeing that, so feel free to ping over a link if anyone knows where that is. Days, how are you tonight? I'm good, thank you. 40 odd minutes into this pre-show, and we've been drowning in wrestling news, so lots to talk about tonight. So yeah, I'm good. I feel sorry for the people that have been released. I genuinely do. I mean, like, those people don't deserve it. A lot of them didn't. I mean, can you imagine how exciting it is to sign with WWE and dream about making it to the main roster and dream about making it, like, you know, further in, like, your profession, like getting to the mountaintop, going to Raw, Smackdown, WrestleMania, and you sign to the Performance Center, and some of you don't even get onto TV. I mean, like this Ezra Judge, Skylar story, just don't even make it onto TV as far as I know. Kavita, never really saw much of her. She was in the Mae Young Classic. She faced Dakota Kai. And she was in NXT, and she was meant to be on that Superstar Spectacle. Indian special, but never was. I mean, it just really sucks. I mean, whatever level you're at, it's going to suck. But just because these are names that we don't know about, sucks just as much, to be honest. So I really do feel sorry for those. But that's the wrestling business, isn't it? There's always budget cuts around just after WrestleMania. I must admit, I thought we were past them. I'd heard no reports of any more cuts. And obviously we had a load of cuts just after WrestleMania. But saying that, I can't remember if NXT was involved. Now I think about it. Now I think back to, when people were being released just after WrestleMania. And we lost, like, Billy Kay, Peyton Royce, so on, so on, so on. I can't remember if NXT was involved in those cuts or not. So maybe I should have seen these coming, but I certainly didn't. Aren't you okay? Aren't you tired of talking about all of this stuff? Nope. No, I mean, that's kind of what we're here for, is to put the news out there, get people's thoughts on it, read out your comments on it and whatever. So it's kind of worked out quite nice, actually. We've kind of, like, spoken about all the big stories, at least. I'm sure there's other stories that we could delve into. There's not been much news in the wrestling world for the past few days. So these kind of previews, these hour before the shows that we do, they're always talking about kind of rumors, theories, what you think's going to happen here, blah, 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 blah. So it's kind of nice in a way to have some news to talk about. I wish it wasn't releases, but it's nice to have some news to talk about. And then, of course, get people's thoughts on as well. Tweeted it at you, says Big Boy Deli. Okay, thank you. Deception Hunter said, I missed it. Who got cut? Okay, so Alexander Wolf. So when he got booted out of Imperium, he's unfortunately been actually cut from the business. So explains why he's been kicked out of Imperium. Drake Wirtz, the controversial referee. For those of you that didn't hear about this, it's very... I don't know quite what's... Now, he's someone that I think has struggled in the past. I don't know if... I think he struggled with... And this is me guessing, right? I don't know this 100%. I know that he has struggled with things, and a lot of people praised him for getting his life back on track. What I don't know is if he struggled with addictions, or if he struggled with mental illness, or maybe he struggled with both. I genuinely don't know, right? But I know there was a lot of praise for the fact that he had managed to overcome adversities. And he used to be a wrestler. Now he's a referee. And he was a referee in WWE, right? And he's quite a high-profile one in the sense of, if you saw him, you'd recognise him. He's the one that always had, like, the really dark tan. White guy with the really dark tan. And he was in NXT. Now, he was starting to go and be a very active member in his community, talking about face masks and talking about how... like child traffickers can operate easily with everyone wearing face masks. It's harder to tell who's behind the masks, and he was kind of pleading with the local Florida governors and like councils to not allow face masks because it was making it easier for child trafficking, and there's no evidence of this, right? I don't know where he's getting these numbers from. Or where he's getting this information from. He's someone that seems to be into conspiracy theories, and I don't know, there seems to be some real concern for him and where his mental health was. And, he was like going to these meetings and like bursting into tears and getting upset. And it's not just someone voicing a concern. It's as if this is the way he was acting. It's like this is a desperate problem. Do you know what I mean? This is like, this has got to end kind of a thing. But there's no evidence of that this is happening, or there's no, like, I don't quite understand where this drama was coming from. I mean, you could argue what he wants to campaign for in his own time is up to him. The only downside is he is an employee of WWE, so naturally it is going to reflect on them. And the guy actually attended one of these meetings. I think he Skype called in wearing an NXT shirt. So again, even if you don't like associate him with WWE, he was doing a pretty good job of associating himself. So WWE, like, this doesn't surprise me they've parted ways with him, to be honest. You can think it's right, you can think it's wrong, you can think he had a valid point, you can think that he had no valid point, but he is going to represent the company. And, as a result, Like, if he's going to do that, I should imagine, ideally, you would clear it with, WWE first. And certainly don't wear NXT clothing to such meetings and stuff like this. To be perfectly honest, from what I've seen, more so than what he's been campaigning for, I think there's a real concern just about his mental health. From what I've seen, a lot of his friends and whatever are saying that this isn't a guy they really recognise anymore. And so I think that's the bigger question. I don't think it's about, was it right, was it wrong that he was doing this? I think that's maybe part of the conversation, but I think the bigger conversation is he all right? Like, is he all right? And as a result, I think WWE have parted ways. And honestly, I hope he is all right. And if this is something that he is passionate about and believes in, he can obviously continue to pursue that. But I think that there's more going on here, to be honest. I think there is more going on. And hopefully he gets, whatever help he needs to get. So, Drake Wirtz, Alexander Wolf, Drake Wirtz, Jessamine Dupe, Vanessa Bourne, Kavita Devi, Ezra Judge, Jake Clemens, and Skylar Story. Those are the people that have been released. I think we counted it was about 8 people. NXT Performance Center level, and yeah, sucks. I mean, I don't want to make. I've said before, and I don't want anyone to get the wrong impression. I don't care who it is, right? If you lose your job, it sucks because that's your livelihood and that's your income, and it sucks. And I don't care that it's people we might not have heard of. I don't care that it's not main roster big stars like Seth or people like this. WWE has released people. They've lost their jobs. They've lost their livelihood, and it sucks. It's very weird not being constantly trolled by Austin, says Seth Iroth. Lingard says every other WWE superstar, including WWE Diva superstars, always remember the Ultimate Warrior, and it's a memory of him. Storm, not Tony Storm. No, hang on, I didn't say Storm, did I? Skylar Story. Her real name was Brandy Lauren. I don't know if that's her real name, but that's the name that she used to be when she was in Evolve. Bonkers says 0-3 to Liverpool earlier. I did quickly see that score, yes. CCSYT said thoughts on AEW moving to TBS in 2022 and them adding a new show called Rampage. We touched on it. I think it's good for them. I mean, obviously, one of Tony Khan's strengths is going to be business plans and knowing what he wants to grow the brand and what the right way forward is going to be. I actually think Tony Khan's going to be better than that than booking. And I think that he's going to have got a good deal from TBS. I think TNT were very happy with what they were getting. We found out that the channels are connected. I don't know how it works in America. I don't know if TBS and TNT are connected, but apparently they are all a part of the Turner network. So it looks like they're just moving to a different channel under the same Turner banner. That's going to be, you would think, more money for them. Certainly the fact they're bringing in a second show is going to be more money for them. So they're going to have a presence on 2 channels now. So now they're not just one show on TNT on a Wednesday. Now they've got permanent presences on 2 different channels on 2 different days of the week. They're obviously got a big presence on YouTube as well. They're sure to be getting more money for this. Like, this is a definite step forward for AEW. So, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see what the ratings come in as, of course. I don't think Dynamite's ratings are going to change. I think they'll be just under 1 million. Ultimately, just under 1 million. I don't know what Rampage does, in all fairness. That's going to be very interesting. What does a second show do? I'm sure it's Friday after Smackdown, 10 p.m. that it airs. So they could be looking at getting... I mean, it's if that is the time slot, that's a good time slot. Because, you watch Smackdown for a couple of hours, and then you've got potentially just over 2 million wrestling fans that just have to change a channel and then they've got another hour of wrestling. And not just any wrestling, not like MLW or, that's just got a load of people they've never heard of. You change the channel, you got Jericho, you got Matt Hardy, you got Christian, you got Sting, you got Jake the Snake Roberts, you've got Miro, formerly Rusev, you got John Moxley. Like, they have got a lot of name power. And I would imagine that Rampage is going to, really keep that name power, because they are looking at that 2 million people that tune into Smackdown, licking their lips. Because don't forget, on a Wednesday, they don't follow anything. On a Wednesday, what do they follow? Nothing. They are having to try and get that audience completely on their own. No help from WWE, of course. WWE obviously running a show at the same time. So, they were in a battle with WWE, the Wednesday Night War. Whereas now they can lick their lips at that 2 million SmackDown viewership and start dreaming about what will Rampage get. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the rating's going to look like. Everyone asked Days if he's streaming Triple Mania. I don't have any plans to do it at the moment. I understand the main event is very tasty of Omega and Andrade, but I honestly don't know what the rest of the card looks like. I also don't know where it airs. I would imagine Fight TV. I would imagine that you've got to pay for it. So, I don't know. It's one that I don't think the majority of people are going to be watching, to be honest. I think that, your die-hard wrestling fans will probably tune into it. But I'm not sure that there's going to be loads of people tuning into Triple Mania. Although it's a very good main event. I will give them that. It's a very good main event. Harley says, what's your prediction for the Fatal 4-Way? For some reason, a lot of people think Owens, which is very weird. The Fatal 4-Way, I can't quite remember who's in it, if I'm being honest. I would imagine it's Sammy, Owens, Big E, and Apollo. I'm probably looking... Well, it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because I don't think Apollo's doing that great of a job. I think that his gimmick is probably the most engaged we've been with him, but I still don't think it's brilliant. I'm still not crazy about it. I'm certainly not crazy about the accent still. I thought I would have been used to it by now, like how we got used to Lana. You know how Lana used to be Russian and she's not Russian anymore? I thought I would got used to it, but I think it's sort of easier to accept someone going from a fake accent to their natural voice. I think it's easier to move away from that than someone going from their normal voice to putting on an accent. So I think that's why it's a little bit harder to accept. But also, his matches are fine, but they don't set the world on fire. Commander Aziz is, nice addition, but hasn't really done a great deal yet. I still don't know, still hasn't been explained why he's carrying around that spear. His ring attire's nice, I like that. I don't know, perhaps I just need to see a bit more from him, but for me it's not quite clicked yet. It's better than what he was doing before he was doing all this, but it's still not quite clicked yet. So I'm kind of torn. Do they keep going with him, or do they now go, yeah, this hasn't worked? At what point do they go, we're hoping this would be better than this? I don't know if we're there yet or not. So I would guess they keep it on Apollo. I would guess that we're not quite done yet. But honestly, if they do go with Owens, I'd be more excited for that. I'm going to predict Apollo retains. I'm probably going to be cheering for Sami Zayn or Owens. I don't want it going back on Big E. I'd see that as maybe a bit of a step backwards. I'm not sure. Apollo gives me free Nigerian accent lessons every Friday, says McLean. Liam Costa said, Days, my friend and chat, how are you all? How do I watch these documentaries? As I love wrestling documentaries. I've got a new job doing removals. I start at 8. Congratulations. That's cool. That's really cool. How do you watch them? I watch them on Watch Wrestling. in the UK. We don't really have A and E, so I honestly wouldn't even know how I would watch them otherwise. So I'm not here promoting illegal stuff. If you're in the US, you should definitely be watching them on A&E. But I genuinely don't know how else we would watch them here. So, yeah, Watch Wrestling is a good site for that. Edward Brown, shout out to you. Days Commander Aziz versus Amos. Who have you got? I think they would put Amos over in that battle. I think that Commander Aziz may be a little bit more competent in the ring. Just because I think he's been around a bit longer. Obviously, when he was Dabba-Kato and Babatunde. I mean, we saw him back at, Greatest Royal Rumble. I remember seeing Babatunde. And I know that he was around quite a while before that. So he's been around for a good few years. Like, don't think Commander Aziz has just come walking through the door. He's been around for years and years and years. He's kind of lucky to have avoided being dropped, actually, thinking about it. But he's got such a big size to him that I think that has, done him in good stead. Held him in good stead. So I would think that, like, match-wise, I think you'll get a better match out of Commander Aziz. But I think Amos is even bigger, even taller. And they've probably got even bigger plans for him as a result. The bigger you are, the bigger the plans. So I think in that battle, I think they would go with Amos. But I think that Commander Aziz would have to be the in-ring general. How about that joke? I'm watching WWE The Bump right now, says Lynn Girl. Tony Khan said it's more money. And they would be bumped by NHL and NBA. That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Arts and entertainment ? Says William. I don't know what A&E stands for, to be honest. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. MSK versus New Day, says BPU. Right, we're 2 minutes away. 2 minutes away from AEW. Of course, this is not the Go Home show. We've got the Go Home show. Is it next week for Double or Nothing? I think Double or Nothing is really not that far away. Yeah, we will be covering that. Obviously, we're going to have to be very careful once again with how we do that stream. So, keep an eye out for how we set that stream up. If we're streaming at the same time that Double or Nothing is on, I would say there's a very good chance that we'll be watching it. So, there we go. Keep an eye out on the channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe. Make sure that you're joining us. We are here all the time when it comes to wrestling. And I absolutely will look to bring in AEW Rampage, obviously, into the schedule. So Friday nights look like they're going to get a bit longer. Next week, Friday Go Home show. Days, isn't Commander Aziz using Umaga's finisher, the thumb? I don't know that I've seen him finish a match, to be honest. Has he even had a match? I don't think Commander Aziz has had a match, so I can't quite tell you what his moveset is like. Bigger you are, the bigger your dong is, says William Hensey. Alex said, Days, I watched some of your old videos today. The one that stuck in mind was the 2K17 NXT edition. Did you ever keep that, and did the Finn Balor figure grow on you? Hang on, is it this one? Is it that one? Is it that one? Might be that one. If it is a Finn Balor figure, then I'm guessing it's this one. Right, we are going over to AEW. Hang on, let me change this over. Boom. 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 Yep. We've got a little countdown. Did this figure grow on me? It's all right. Christian Cage is making his way out. looks all right, in all fairness. I haven't looked at this since... There we go. That is the Finn Balor. Looks kind of good on the face. It's a bit... There's not much expression, is there? That's the only problem. Well, not the only problem. But I would have liked a bit more of an expression. But yeah, you got this with the deluxe edition version of one of the 2K games. I don't know. It's not... The paint job on it's just not... But it looks all right on a shelf, you know. It's got a nice little stand and whatever. It is kind of crazy that he just does not use that gimmick anymore, and he just doesn't look like that at all now. It's kind of a big thing that we've lost, isn't it, in a way? Now I look at it, and now I see it, and I'm kind of reminded about him again. It is kind of a big thing that we've lost. It is a shame in a way that they couldn't find a better way forward with that. But as we said, he wasn't getting over. And I do think where he is now for him is maybe in a better place. But I also know there's lots of fans that would love the Demon to come back. It's alright. I like expressions. And that one doesn't really do it for me. Right, we've got Christian Cage versus Matt Sydal. Sydal. Have you got Kofi? I've got some Kofis, yeah. Got a couple of Mattel Kofis. Boom, boom. Do you think Fox would let AEW buy ad space on Smackdown? I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't have thought so. I would have thought that that would be... No, I wouldn't think so. I don't quite know how it works with networks buying ad space on other networks. I mean, if I had a network, like the last people I'd want advertising on my network would be another network. And I can't imagine they're struggling to sell ads. Maybe they are. I don't know. But I would guess not. I would guess not. Did you get my video from the web? I haven't looked, to be perfectly honest, at all of that yet. I'm doing that kind of after this stream. Right, we're underway with Christian versus Matt Sydal. We've got a pretty loud crowd. They're not fake crowd noises. I think that is the actual fans in attendance. Some good map-based stuff at the moment. Do you do polls to see who wins? Do I do polls to see who wins? What wins the matches? No. We have done those in the past, but to be honest, I mean, these kind of matches I'm not that fussed by. I'm not really too grabbed by this, but I suppose it's something we could bring back for like pay-per-view ones. But I mean, WrestleMania Backlash was maybe the most predictable pay-per-view in the history of pay-per-views. I'm not sure we really needed a poll to know who was winning those matches. But maybe we could do that for something like Double or Nothing, which looks like a very good card. Against the ropes goes Matt Sydal, and Christian Big Boot Sydal goes to the outside. Big Boy Dally said, I swear if Taz is on commentary all night, I'm going to have to mute this. Do you remember the rubber stretch wrestling dolls? Yes. I have them somewhere as well. I've got a big AJ Styles one, actually. I can see it in the box up there. And obviously, we did a very fun video looking at those. So, yeah, they were kind of fun. They were kind of cool. There's big inflatable wrestling buddies that you can get that I think are like 3 feet tall. They're inflatable, but they are a bit tougher. Like, you can wrestle with them and not worry so much about them popping. So, they're new. I haven't seen much about those. But I did see an advert advertising those a few weeks ago. Christian Cage in control. And Matt Sydal with some elbows to the midsection of Christian. Big slap by Christian, who goes to the middle rope looking for uppercut. And Sydal goes down. A zombie forecast says there's about a 60% chance, says Esteban. Do you have Big E? Yep. Yeah, I've got a couple of New Day sets. So, yeah, I've got Xavier, Big E, Kofi. Do you collect the AEW action figures? Because I know you collect the WWE ones. I've managed to avoid them. Only because I really wasn't looking to start a brand new collection. Like, if you've been collecting figures for a while, like, you know how expensive they are, and like it can sort of take over your life. It can certainly take over your house. And so I really was having to be quite disciplined with not starting a brand new collection. And it's been difficult because there's been some great AEW figures. There has been some really, really good stuff that they've come out with. So I'm not against the figures at all. I think they do a really good job with them. But yeah, I've avoided them because like I just don't want to start a whole new collection again. But I might pick up a couple. Certainly the ones that come with belts. I do love belts. So I could see myself getting the ones that come with like the different championships. Robin said, what is your favourite finisher in wrestling? The new Tony Storm one. Whew! I'm into that. It's a beautiful move. I retweeted out how much I love that move. So impressed with it. I'm still really impressed with it. Thought it was great. Have you got any Cena, Becky, or Bliss? Yes, to all of those. Double knees by Matt Sydal. And Christian goes down. Miro versus Archer at Double or Nothing. Should be a lot of fun. Double or Nothing genuinely looks like it's going to be a really, really fun card. Inon Superior said they were inspired by Stretch Armstrong. When does BCFF owner Lou Gregory debut? I heard rumours about the pay-per-view. BCFF owner Lou Gregory. I don't know who this is. I can't say that I've heard anything about that. I don't know who BCFF is. Today I told my boss that I already have 2 cats, but I would still make him my son. Well, I bet that conversation went well. Christian is backed up in the corner. Matt Sydal charging over, collides into Christian. Christian rolling into the ring as Sydal goes for the pin. Shoulder up. Shout out to Michael. Shida versus Baker will be fire, fire, fire. Sonny, shout out to you. Hope you are well. Do we not have... LSW said, Days, I figured out what SNLVW is. Go for it. Let me know. What is it? Because I still never figured that out. Yeah, where is Austin tonight? It's very unusual to not have Austin around. I mean, it's kind of nice, if I'm being honest. So, yeah. Do you know what I mean? I kind of feel like this has been... we've had a good chat about wrestling news. I kind of feel like the whole conversation has gone a little bit more highbrow. Do you know what I mean? We've not been in the gutter as much, so it's kind of nice. This, it feels a bit refreshing, doesn't it? LSW says, "I'm only kidding. I still have no clue." Okay, brilliant, great. Thanks for the update. Days, I'm okay-ish. I haven't done anything for the Wrestling Escape Pod, but I was planning on it. Okay. Austin might be working. Well, them, you know what I mean? Them strip bars need workers. Kick out by Matt Sydal. Sing Hit Row. I can't quite remember it off the top of my head. Isn't it something like Hit Row? Hit Row, Hit Row. It sounds like the word hero, in a way. Hero. Hero. I don't know. Listen, if that's music in this day and age, then I must be a boomer. I must be a boomer, guys. Austin is helping his sister. I'm sure he will be here later. Oh, that's nice of him. And not at the strip club. Don't connect those things, right? Because I know people are going to be like, oh, Dave said your sister worked at a strip club. I never said that. Did I? I never said that. I made out that Austin was working at the strip club, yeah? And now it turns out he's helping his sister. And I already know everyone's like, oh, does that mean she works at the strip? I've never said this, right? And they all know what you're going to say. You're going to be like, Dave said this about you and your sister. Yeah? It's not what I said, right? Show some respect. Show some respect, everyone out there that didn't technically disrespect me yet, but I knew where it was going. I knew where it was going. Christian Cage has won. And Taz having a few words. And here comes someone. Taz says, oh, it's Ricky Stark. Ricky Stark. Ricky Stark, who's out for a while, so I don't know what he's doing out here. He says, I'm my own man. I'm not going to be on the sidelines like these flunkies. It's good. Is Ricky Stark, like, leading this? Okay, so Team Taz. So, Team Taz looks like it's sort of being led by Ricky Stark now, which is kind of a good move. You know, is injured. And so this means that they can still keep him on TV. Here's Hangman. Hangman giving Ricky Stark a drink. Hangman getting in the ring. Hangman coming to the aid of Christian and Matt Sydal. Where's the Dark Order then? And the Dark Order on their way. Powerhouse Hobbs down. Knee by Cage. Brian Cage has got Hangman Page on his shoulders. Hook comes in. Chop block by Hook. Hangman Page goes down. Cage has got him. Brian Cage with a power bomb. Hits it. So, Team Taz with Ricky Stark has cleaned the ring out here. We're really getting another brawl after... Of course we are. Of course we are. The legendary Firefly Revolution. It's another brawl after another match. In a long sequence of brawls after matches. It's as predictable as night follows day, isn't it? C Wrestling said, does anyone know if A and E moving to TBS is a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. I've no idea if it's bigger or smaller than TNT. I'm not aware of that. I don't know about that. Sonny's saying it's smaller. Does anyone know if it's bigger or smaller? I mean, to be honest, I don't know if it's. I don't think it's going to be a bad thing per se, because I would imagine that their fan base will follow them wherever it goes. It's hard to know how many casual fans AEW actually gets. So I kind of feel like they might see a little knock at first, but I reckon they'll pretty much get back to where they are regardless. I think they'll be all right. if they were like bigger than they are now and they were getting loads of casual fans, then it might be an issue. But I think it'll be all right. And obviously they're keeping a presence on TNT anyway. And if those two networks are connected and they are both under that kind of Turner banner, then you'd imagine that they'll be openly promoting the shows on the different channels and whatever. So, you know, they've still got that presence with the new Rampage show on TNT. So I think it's all growing. LSW says TBS is family friendly, says Sean. TBS is a little bit smaller than TNT. Andres Lopez says TBS tends to be more family friendly. That's very interesting. Whereas TNT airs more edgy content. Days, do you think AEW will have to tone it down? Well, to be honest, it's not something that I really considered, but you guys are now making me think that. If TBS is more family friendly, that's interesting. Never considered it. So I should imagine that will be. I should imagine, yes, they will turn it down in regards to blood. But by and large, I mean, the product is. I should imagine bad language and blood will probably be turned down when they move to TBS. But I don't think it's going to result in that much of a change. Varsity Blondes just cutting a promo, and I think we're going to our first commercial break. Days, are you bald under the beanie? Yes. Days, I got my copyright strike removed. That's good. After going through the counter notification, AEW refused to retract, even after claiming the content was fine. So I just had to wait the 2 weeks. So you put in your counter notification. That then puts it back on them to escalate it further. I mean, yeah, I don't think they were ever going to do that. I think it's the bot. I think it was the bot that obviously went out of control. I haven't heard of any more stories of any more copyright things being issued out, so it looks like that bot went mental. Good that you put in your counter notification. I can't believe they refused to retract it, though. That shocks me. That really shocks me that they refused to retract it. That really shocks me. Even after claiming the content was fine, so I just had to wait the 2 weeks. I bet that was a rubbish 2 weeks, not knowing quite which way that's going to go. I honestly, I think it's appalling. I've said this before. I think it's absolutely appalling. I think AEW were completely out of order. I know that a lot of AEW hardcore fans have said, "Oh, it wasn't them. It was this bot that did it." Make no mistake about it. That bot is still operating on their behalf. So, first of all, shouldn't have happened in the first place, right? And okay, if it does happen, you get judged on how you deal with it. And there's an example of how it was dealt with. They've, C Wrestling has been hit with this unfairly, and has had to go through this whole process, not knowing if it's going to escalate and, could go to court and all this kind of stuff. If they want to stand by their guns, if they really think that there's been a violation of copyright, they can take it to court. And imagine going through all that for no reason. It's awful how people have been treated over this. Awful. And I do think that it's quite disappointing to see people trying to defend it on Twitter. I've seen a fair few AEW fans just going, "Oh, it wasn't them, it was the bot," and just no, they could have dealt with this a lot better than they did. But I'm glad it's sorted. Georgia Championship Wrestling was great in 1979. Sterling Gold was awesome, says Inon Superior. Maybe we need to get William Shatner to yell Khan at Tony Khan. AEW going to do a similar thing with Ricky Starks with what they've done with Britt Baker. Do you know what? I do love that about them. They are so good when it comes to people being injured. When they've got an injured superstar, they don't just take them off TV and you don't see them. Like, I actually think Britt Baker got more over during her time away from the ring than when she was doing stuff in the ring. Like, when she was sat on the back of that truck with her foot in plaster and she had Reba doing all of her stuff for her and she had that bit of back and forth with Tony. Like, that was really entertaining stuff. Like, I really got into... I wasn't into Britt Baker when she was a face. I wasn't feeling it. And when she turned heel and she was injured and she was sat on the sidelines, it was great. It was so good. So, yeah, if they are doing something similar with Ricky Stark and they're now positioning him as being the face of Team Taz and having Taz just kind of sit it out and let Ricky Stark do the talking instead, I think that's great. I think that is a real strength of AEW. I think that's something they actually get right. William says, dark country YouTube music. That's my jam these days. Dark country YouTube. Sounds wild. Seth Iroff says, Britt Baker sucked at first. I think they, in their mind, she was going to be like this big baby face that we were all going to root for. Root, because she's a dentist, like a root canal. So, but it didn't work, and she just was quite boring and bland, and really wasn't doing it for me. But when she like turned heel, and we got up to see a bit more of her personality, and I loved how she was calling Reba Rebel Reba, and even now they still put on the graphics Rebel brackets, not Reba. Like they still have fun with all of that. It was really good. Tooth and nail thing we could have done without maybe, but by and large it was a good time for her, and maybe this will be a good time for Ricky Starks. Right, we've got Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. And they are taking on the Acclaimed, which is AEW's Hit Row. Just because a certain superstar is not a bad guy doesn't mean they're bad. Just because a certain superstar is not a bad guy doesn't mean they're bad. Just because a certain superstar is not a bad guy doesn't mean they're bad. I don't quite get that. Are you saying that she was good as a babyface? You enjoyed her work when she was a face? Because I didn't think she was connecting. I didn't think it was working. It certainly wasn't working with me. But when she turned heel, I thought it really clicked. I love the booze, says Alessandro. I like to watch Moxley, says Laurie. Right, Acclaim come down, and thankfully, Moxley and Kingston have got mercy, and they attack them before they get to say too much. So we're underway with this. We've got Kingston and Moxley taking on the Acclaimed, and this is our second match of the evening. Is it our second match of the evening? I think it is our second match of the evening. I must admit, this show hasn't grabbed me yet. I know I've been talking a lot to you guys, but this show hasn't really grabbed me yet. WTF is this cringy? That was fire. Right, we've got kicks in the corner by Moxley. And he's talking to the referee. The referee telling him to stop, and he's kicking the guy in front of him. Eddie Kingston enjoying what he's seeing. I do like these two as a tag team, actually. I'm into this. It makes Kingston feel like an even bigger deal. Partnering with Jon Moxley, you know? It's kind of weird because I still think of Eddie Kingston in, like, NWA. I know that, obviously, they've known each other a long time, but obviously Moxley, you think of The Shield and WWE. And I think of Eddie Kingston as, like, NWA. So seeing them partner and team together is kind of strange, but it's really fun. And they really complement each other very well. So I do like that, them as a team. If Eddie and John ever split up, who do you think will turn on who? I would imagine John will turn on Eddie, just because it might be a bit predictable if it's Eddie that turns on John. You would imagine that it would go that way. Like, John has been a face since he came in, I believe. And Eddie Kingston obviously has largely been a heel. So you would imagine that Eddie would turn on John. But to put a little swerve in there, they might just go the other way round. But I don't know that that's going to happen because they've already feuded. And I don't know if we need to go back to that feud. I kind of think this might be one where they team for a while and then they might just go their separate ways. Do you know what I mean? They might be like, I need to do this kind of a thing. A little bit like Big E in the New Day. I don't know that I would be desperate to see one turn on the other again and for us to get a bit of a feud out of it. I suppose it depends when it happens. If we're talking in like 2-3 years' time, then yeah, it'd be great. But if it's going to be in 6 months, it's not really going to have that much impact. Who do you think will be the first to leave AEW to go to WWE? Thingy did, didn't he? Old Ben Carter. He was signed with AEW, and WWE came in, and now he works in NXT UK. So, technically, it's happened. But, I can't think of any other examples. That's a good question. Watch out for The Shield. They are so unstoppable. Next year, AEW is going to go to TBS, and they are doing a Friday night show, indeed. Big news that broke today. Very exciting for AEW fans. And I actually wonder, you know, what their A show will be. I think Dynamite is established, obviously, now. But don't sleep on that Rampage show. That Rampage show, if it's immediately following Smackdown, and it's on what you guys are saying is the bigger network on 10 o'clock on a Friday night, just after Smackdown has had 2 million views. I know it's only an hour, but I could see that show being loaded. I could see that show being... I think both of them... I don't think they'll do a brand split. I think both shows are going to be big. And I think both shows will push the narrative forward. So if you're an AEW fan, I think you will want to watch both. But, yeah, don't sleep on that. Don't sleep on that Rampage show. That Rampage show, I think, is going to be a big, big deal. Big, big deal. Days, I was just on the set of the new Nash Bridges movie, and I was able to meet Cheech. Stephen Anderson, sounds like you're having a good day. Tommy B says AEW is doing too much already, which is an interesting point. I think, though, that the YouTube stuff, being the Elite, AEW Dark Elevation, I think all of that is for your hardcores. I kind of see that as, like, it's their developmental in a way. It's where their roster that can't quite get onto Dynamite work. It's where their future stars that are trying to establish themselves and find themselves, it's where they go. And obviously, you know, you do get some squash matches where some of the current top stars compete. But it's very missable. I think you do get some good matches on them, though. I've heard a lot of praise for Elevation in recent weeks. I've never watched it, but I've heard praise for it. But I still stand by it's skippable. I think if you want to watch something that's really going to push the stories along, then you'd only need to watch Dynamite and this Rampage show. John Moxley is going to have a good night with Kingston. We get local news after SmackDown, so I wonder when the show that's supposed to air after it will be on. Well, it'll be on at 10 p.m. I think SmackDown's 8 till 10, isn't it? So 10 p.m., that's when this new Rampage show starts on TNT. So even though you have local news, if you turn over to TNT in August, it should be AEW. Some back elbows by Kingston. Acclaimed are back in control. We've had half an hour of this show, and it's all right. You know, it's not setting the world on fire, but I'm not offended by it. Kind of feels a little bit like a dark episode in a way. It's all right. Did you hear? Did you know that MJF was in WWE? Did I know that? Off the top of my head, I'm going to say no. But if you did a couple of jobs or something like that, then no. I mean, he certainly wasn't in as a big star, so he might have been signed to them or something, but nothing more than that. Esteban says, Tony says Rampage will be on a par with Dynamite. Definitely not a B show. YouTube is their syndicated shows, says Esteban. Did you ever play Rampage in the arcades? I didn't, no. I didn't. I always used to play, when I went to the arcade, I'd play WrestleFest and Simpsons. Used to love the Simpsons. Simpsons arcade game was amazing to me. The fact you could go to the arcade and play a game that was The Simpsons was just... take my money. Take all my money. I used to play that. I used to play Turtles as well. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Simpsons, WrestleFest. Those were the three. So no, I wasn't playing things like Rampage or... I think they had Mortal Kombat, stuff like that. But I think by the time I saw that, you could already get it at home. So I remember that being a big deal when you could play arcade games at home on a Genesis and whatnot. That was a big deal. He was a security guard. Okay. Robin813 says, I remember Triple H was trying to negotiate with MLW to sign MJF, so WWE really wanted him. Braden said, if AEW and WWE combined brands, who would invade the other show to make that? I don't know, buddy. That conversation always loses me because it's just so out there. It's kind of like talking about, if WCW and WWE were to work together during the mid-90s or during the Attitude Era. It was something that wasn't going to happen until literally one of the companies went out of business. And then, even then you could argue it didn't really happen because the invasion was not what people expected. So, I don't know. I don't know how they would book it. Mainly because they're not going to book it. Inzaguri kick by Kingston. The pace and energy of this has really picked up. Kingston makes the tag. Moxley comes in. These two working together right now. Plants him down. Moxley going for the pin. 2, 3, and there we go. Moxley and Kingston are victorious. Days, have you still got that arcade machine? I have, yes, I have. I don't get a chance to play it that much, to be honest. If at all, actually. I don't think I've turned it on in 2021. But I had a little go on it last year, and it's good. I mean, it's one of those things where, you could just spend a long time, having a go at all the different wrestlers and trying to complete the storyline mode, and it's so good. It's always a game that I loved. Dave in Real Life says, two of my favourite arcade games were Golden Axe and Double Dragon, as they were two-player games. We're backstage with Jericho, who's got his arm bandaged and protected. We are going to hear from the Inner Circle tonight, because of course Pinnacle has challenged them to one more match, and if they beat them, Inner Circle have to split up. Okay. We've got Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. So they attacked Darby Allin, didn't they? Scorpio Sky says, when I was a child, Sting was everything I loved. Paige and Sky. I even used to dress like him. Did you? Time happened. That's what happened, guys. Time happened. That was awesome, and it took all my pocket money. People talking about their favourite arcade games. Dean Malenko, yeah, Dean Malenko with Jericho. Scorpio Sky with some words for Sting, telling him to step aside. Keep Sky off the mic. He's awful, says Cerebral Assassin. I wish Sky was a singles competitor, says Robin. Okay, so Tony has left the ring. I hope you was watching, Sting, when I threw Darby Allin down the steps. Miro, you're going to be a hell of a TNT champion. Still can't believe they released Dean. I feel like AEW's wardrobe department is just H&M, says Esteban. I'm not feeling these two, to be honest. I've got... Lights go out. Crowd really pop. Big pop. And we've got the snow. Sting making his way out. Darby Allin from behind. It's another attack. It's very, like, rinse and repeat, isn't it? It's another sneak attack. Like, we literally, 20 minutes ago just saw Team Taz do something similar. They did talk about this, actually. QT Marshall was saying that the way they booked the shows, and it sounded a bit messy, to be honest. But he was saying, like, you know, mistakes do get made. We're still learning and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it's not as if Tony writes the whole show out himself and that's it. Obviously, there's a lot of input from a lot of people, and it sounds a bit convoluted. I mean, as much as Vince being the one that has the final say also does not work, I'm not sure the way that AEW do their booking works either. Sting has got a Scorpion Deathlock on Scorpio Sky. So this looks to be heading to a tag match of Sting and Darby against Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. Dean Malenko's appearance felt like a wasted cameo, didn't it? They could have made a bigger deal out of that, in all fairness. Dark Order come out. And Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page run to the sidelines. Sting doesn't feel special. He doesn't have that much impact. Well, the one thing I would say was it was really cool to hear the crowd react to Sting coming out. Like, when the lights went out then, the crowd really popped. There was a proper whoa! Like, there was a lot of excitement for when Sting came out. So, I don't know, for that bit there, it kind of felt like a decent deal. I don't know. I mean, you can definitely argue they've overused him. I don't think there's going to be too many people going onto Twitter right now going, "Oh my God, Sting came out!" You know, it's kind of just another week, another appearance from Sting. But I thought the way they used him was really good in that cinematic match. I thought that was really good. I'll give him credit for that. I wish AEW had their own network. I'm tired of paying $60 for a pay-per-view. They are good though, says Big Boy Dally. Dave in real life says AEW have wrestler cut a promo, winners win, get attacked from behind. Dom15 says, what's the point in the Dark Order coming out? I'm not too sure, to be honest. I was surprised they didn't come out to back up Hangman Page. I thought Hangman Page and Dark Order were, like, together. So, seeing Hangman Page getting beaten up by Brian Cage and all of that, I was surprised the Dark Order didn't come out then. So, I'm not sure the logic in bringing them out here, rather than bringing them out earlier. But honestly, I mean, who knows? I don't know. There could have been a bit of something happening on Being the Elite that I'm not aware of, because sometimes they do a little storyline development on there. But normally they're pretty good at bringing you up to speed during Dynamite if there has been anything that's gone down. So, don't know. Anna Dawes, shout out to you. Hope you are well. Michael said, I was at Winter Is Coming. The crowd was crazy. And when I saw the name, I was in shock. That was cool. I love his entrance with the snow and all of that. I think it looks great. I love all that. Vince should start bringing fans back this month. There are other events bringing crowds back, says Ant Washington. Right, we have got a little meal with the Pinnacle. The Pinnacle are sat at a table. Wardlow drinking out the bottle. MJF says, Chris, you are so funny and witty. MJF applauding Chris Jericho. When John Silver faced Darby and he got injured, Sky and Ethan Page attacked Darby and Sting after, and then started attacking John Silver. Okay. So they've certainly not made friends backstage. So, Dax is saying that we should be building a legacy, but we can't because of you. This is not an SNL skit. This is not a rom-com. Didn't really need that from Shawn Spears, in all fairness. If you decide to do Stadium Stampede, just know it will be your last match. God, I hope that doesn't have silly comedy in it. I hope it doesn't have silly comedy. Here comes Dr. Britt Baker. Because if that Stadium Stampede is a proper war, that could be so good. It really could be very, very impressive. Okay, here is Reba, Rebel, not Reba, with Dr. Britt Baker. Reba versus Shida. Reigns would easily beat Wardlow, not even close, says Big Boy Dally. Okay, we've got Hikaru Shida, who has made her way down. Of course, she is on a collision course with Dr. Britt Baker. She's going to be facing Reba tonight. She tries to push her away, and she's selling her knee, but a few kicks coming in by Hikaru Shida. Stomping away. Okay. Anna Dawes says, hey, I'll be around in the background tonight. Been a bad first day back at work. We have 2 new positive COVID cases. We are terrified after how many we lost the first time round. We're all on edge. I'm sorry to hear that. Dude, that's really awful news. I mean, you can only do the best you can do, so... Do you know what? That's a hard thing to have to try and switch off from, isn't it? That's a very, very difficult thing to come back and try to... I don't know how you do that, to be honest. So, nothing but respect to you, Anna. I'm sorry to hear that it's been a rough first day back. Yeah, good to see the community putting in some nice words of encouragement for Anna. Shout out to you, Anna. Hikaru Shida is picked up and thrown. Obviously, there's been some... we've had some crutch shots and Britt Baker getting involved. High kick by Reba. Knees coming into the legs. Some of the selling in this has been not brilliant. Slam down by Shida. She's gotten for a stretch muffler. She's got it locked in on Reba. Reba taps. Britt Baker comes in. Kicks by Britt Baker. She goes to grab the Women's Championship. Strike to Shida. Strike to Shida again. Curb stomp. Curb stomp onto the championship by Britt Baker. There we go. I could see her winning, actually. I think Britt Baker, I could see Britt Baker taking that title. I think Shida's had quite a decent run with it. A lengthy run with it. She's been champ for a while, and I could definitely see Britt Baker being next. I really hate the look of that title, says Big Boy Dally. Daniel said, Dax just said last year the Stadium Stampede was a pony show.
And that won't happen this year. We're not doing any of that goofy stuff. Good. I hope so. I mean, I'll believe it when I see it. It was a pony show. It was awful. I hated it. I hated it at the time. But it had such potential. I really was looking forward to it. I was excited for it. It just wasn't my taste whatsoever. But yeah, if this is going to be like a serious stadium stampede, I'm excited. Right, we've got Omega and Don Callis. They're backstage with Orange Cassidy. We need you to sell shirts. We need you to be the mascot of AEW. So Kenny says, we want to show that we care. Here's the deal. You give up your right to the main event for your own good. So you give up your main event match, but it says that you get to have... and Orange rips it. Get to have a match with Kenny in the future. Orange Cassidy rips it quite slowly. Kenny says he didn't even read it. I like these segments, pretty good. Cassidy tearing the paper down like that was weirdly satisfying, says, but he could start like an ASMR channel, couldn't he, Orange? Just slowly like... Kenny says, I could end you. I could end your career. He's got another one. Same document. Don't rip it up. Just hold it. Get some sleep. Does anyone think when the Pinnacle Inner Circle happens again, someone from the Inner Circle might turn on Chris Jericho and cause it to break up? Jake Hager turns heel, ? Asks Walker Danger. It's a good question. Pac versus Kenny versus Orange Sunday, the 30th of May. Double or Nothing. Little advert for that. Coming up, we've got Serena Deeb versus Red Velvet. We're going to hear from the Inner Circle. Do they accept the Pinnacle's challenge for Stadium Stampede? That is next. Yes, they will. So that's that segment done. I mean, in fairness, it'll be a good segment, but I can't imagine them coming out going, no. John said, Orange is trying to be the Harpo Marks of AEW, but Harpo was funnier. Serena versus Red Velvet. Joaquin says, Orange Cassidy looks like he's watching Raw. He was awake. So, I don't know if maybe it was just like the first 10 minutes or something that he was watching, but I can't imagine he'd still be conscious if he was in hour 3. Edward said, Days, my joke last night would make Anna Dawes happy. Well, feel free to tell it, Edward. Brian says, NWA women's title match next. I think, isn't it the Inner Circle next? Not that it matters. We've got both coming up. We're about 4 minutes away from the halftime scores. I think this has been okay. It's been okay. I kind of feel that it's a bit below where Dynamite has been the past couple of weeks. But then saying that, past couple of weeks have been quite good. Last week, AEW I thought was really good. Really enjoyed last week's episode. And of course, you know, I mean, we're pretty much there or thereabouts with Double or Nothing. So next week's the Go Home show, but hard to know what you could really do this week. I think the card is pretty much there, isn't it? So I don't know there'll be any big shocks or surprises or anything like that tonight. But it's all right. Wait, we get 2 female matches on AEW. It's Christmas. Merry Christmas. I think NXT had the better first hour, says Big Boy Dally. Edward says, and remember, this is to cheer Anna up, who is a Tottenham Hotspur fan. Anna, what is the difference between a book and Tottenham Hotspurs? And again, remember, Anna is a Spurs fan. A book has got a title. I mean, I'm not sure that's going to work to cheer her up, but who knows? Who knows? Fabulous Disaster. Hold your scores, you little eager beavers. We're not quite there yet. Can't be giving half-time scores when it's not even half-time. We've still got 2 minutes. Anything could happen in the next 2 minutes that completely changes your mind. I mean, yes, we are at commercial break and we're not, you know, back at the show yet, but who knows? Now we're back at the show. Now we're back at the show. Inner Circle on their way out. Do you know what? I'm already turning down the sound. We all know that we've got to sit through 5 minutes of Judas first. Let's go back. I hope Orange wins the title someday, but don't beat Omega, says Grant. Little bit of bubbly. Drink what the demo god drinks, guys. Drink what the demo god drinks. Little bit of bubbly is going to be back on sale. Do you see MJF going to WWE in the future? He could do, of course. He could do. But I think he is more likely to stick with AEW. It's only if he achieves a lot in AEW and gets maybe a little bit bored. WWE come in with a big offer. You know, could they turn his head? Get him to go over? Sure. But I can't see it. I would have to say it's a very, very slim chance. Okay, good. It's ended. My life is great. Joking around here is my escape. That's good. That's good, William. That's good. Okay. Ortiz wants a fight. Looks like Sammy's up for a fight. MK said, I'm tired of them ramming that song down our throats. It's just become a meme, hasn't it? I think the fans that go look forward to doing it because everyone does it. But I don't know that it makes great TV. Look at the bright side. Fuzzy will be touring soon, so no Jericho, says Heather. Sammy says that Pinnacle wearing cheap suits. Why is he holding the mic like that? Jake Hager says, since the beginning of Dynamite, we have been the baddest. You try so hard to be us. Jack Swagger in AEW. Hager is so much better in AEW. Here's Jericho. Judas, more like rudeness. I heard their challenge loud and clear. If we lose, Inner Circle has to break up forever. And I'm wondering, is it worth it? What do you think Roman Reigns... What do you think Roman Reigns retain Universal Championship, Sonny? I think he's going to retain. We don't quite know who he's facing, but I still think he's going to retain. Could be a return of Edge, couldn't it? On Friday. Or maybe he defends against Jimmy. Okay, so... It's quite long. Max, you hurt me bad. I'm not just talking about my elbow. The most terrifying moment of his life. Time stood still. You scared my family. You scared my children. He's trying to double down and sell the ending of that, which I would have ignored personally, but AEW fans eating it up. He's good on the mic, Jericho. I mean, I will give him that. Because he says, you've given me the fire, you've given me the inspiration to knock your teeth down your throat. So if you want our answer, it's 1000% yes. They all say yes together. Please don't talk about the fall. It was the safest fall. I would think that ladder match he had against DX was more terrifying. You're going to have to kill us to beat us, and we are still alive. I miss the old Jericho when he was with Kevin Owens. Oh, yeah, that was a great time. The whole list stuff was brilliant. I think Inner Circle's been good though. I think Inner Circle's been a good little group, but it's just been too much silliness for me. I know everyone's got different opinions and different tastes, but you know, like the singing with MJF and the stadium stampede and the fall onto the crash mat and stuff like that. I wish we could like take all that stuff away, but promos have been really good. There is one member of the Inner Circle missing. Santana was missing, wasn't he? Who is this guy? I don't quite know who this guy is that's talking to Jade. He's trying to recruit Jade. Why isn't Vince going after Jade? I think they did try. I think she did have tryouts. Jade said she's going to think about it. She tells him to leave. Right, we're moving on to Red Velvet. This should be a good match, actually. I really like Serena Deeb. Really like Serena Deeb. So, here we go. Serena Deeb versus Red Velvet. I like double cheeseburgers with cheese. Mark from Major Figure Podcast, friend of Matt and Brian. Okay. What, that's who that guy is. Let's go Red Velvet. Still doing NWA matches. We watched it for a few weeks, and it just didn't feel the same. Not to me, anyway. It really misses the crowd. The crowd were obviously in a stand right by the ring. You take them away, and you take away a lot of the energy. You take away a lot of the atmosphere. Obviously, they, are quite vocal during promos, and you get to know some of the crowd as well, like Orange Santa. Obviously, This Is Wrestling podcast guys as well. So, you get to see a few familiar faces in the crowd, and we always had a bit of fun with that. I kind of think the wrestling was all right that we watched. Like, I think the shows were okay. I think they were having to restart, but they were having to restart without an audience there live, and it didn't feel the same to me. It didn't feel the same. So I'm sort of keeping an eye on it, but and I'm still subscribed, so they're still getting my money. But I want to see the crowds come back to NWA. Serena Deeb trying to get an early finish in this one. The title shouldn't be defended on Dynamite, says Dom15. Against ropes goes Deeb. Red Velvet tries to jump over Deeb. Deeb with a kick to the midsection. Red Velvet against the rope. Kick to Serena. Against the rope. Back elbow by Serena. What are your thoughts on Moxley Omega feud continuing for this long? Well, it hasn't, has it? I mean, I know they were looking for them, but I think they're not really doing anything anymore. I think the focus is sort of... it's a bit weird, isn't it, thinking about it? Because they did try to attack their trailer, Kingston and Moxley, a few weeks ago. And we've not heard or seen anything like the past couple of weeks in regards to that. Now the focus for Omega is obviously Orange Cassidy and Pac as we build towards Double or Nothing. But I can't say that I've seen... kind of just feels like the focus has shifted away from all of that. So... I personally wouldn't continue. I'm quite excited to see Kingston and Moxley maybe go for the tag titles. I could see that being fun. Dragon Screw by Serena Deeb. Doing some good selling. She's such a good wrestler. Red Velvet's down. I think we're in picture over in America, they just mentioned. Serena Deeb grabbing Red Velvet. Another dragon screw. I wonder if CM Punk, if he ever came into AEW, do you think that he would want to partner with Serena Deeb? Because they were together, obviously, in the Straight Edge Society. So I wonder if something like that would tempt him. I don't know what his relationship with her is like. In all fairness, I don't know if they got on or not, or if he would even care. But considering they worked together, and I should imagine they spent quite a bit of time together. And I reckon he massively respects her wrestling ability, because genuinely, I think she's one of the best workers in AEW. Every single time she has a match, it's really gripping. Oh, she just stomped on the arm then. I thought she was going to do the Garvin stomp. That would have been awesome. The old Garvin stomp where... you stomp on the arm, stomp on the leg, stomp on the other leg, stomp on the arm. You just go around the body, just stomping on different parts of the body. I thought she was going to do the old Garvin stomp, but she didn't. Moxley and Kingston are feuding with the Bucks now. They'll face them at Double or Nothing. That's her. Her hair is different. Yeah, she was bald back then. Uppercut. It only just dawned on me. I was just thinking about what would it take to bring CM Punk in. Obviously, a lot of money, and we've questioned what their budget is like. But honestly, I mean, with the news of a second show, you'd have to say their budget might be a bit healthier now. Like, they're getting more money now. And, I don't know. He is someone that I think really respects wrestling, proper wrestling. And I think he would, I think he'd have a real appreciation for Serena Deeb. And the work that she's doing. Lovely crossbody off the top by Red Velvet. Only if she saves her head. Clothesline by Red Velvet. And again. Drop toe takedown by Red Velvet. Double knees into the back of Serena Deeb. Standing moonsault onto Serena Deeb. Just gets a 2. Good little match, this. This might be my favourite match of the night. Into the corner. Red Velvet goes over. In between the ropes. She's got like a bit of a guillotine. I don't quite know what she was looking to go there, because she couldn't DDT her. But she's turned it into a net breaker. Couldn't get it. Serena Deeb is pushed off the edge of the ring by Red Velvet. She kind of had her in a bit of a DDT position. I think it was guillotine. Looking for a moonsault. Oh! Tell you what, Red Velvet didn't have much room to operate there, but I suppose she's not the biggest of people, but still, respect where it's due. Comes crashing down on Serena Deeb. Step up Inzaguri. Goes for the cover. 2. Kick out by Serena Deeb. That was quite close. It's been good, man. I'm into this. When is the second show happening? August 10th, is it? I had it written down. 13th. Looking for a net breaker. Didn't get it. Kick to the midsection by Red Velvet. Against the ropes goes Red Velvet. Ooh, goes for a kick. Looking for a backslide by Serena Deeb, who goes over Red Velvet. Powerbomb. Reversed. Back body drop. Oh, I thought she'd got it then. Yeah, man. She never disappoints. Serena Deeb never disappoints, and all credit to Red Velvet. She is definitely playing her part in this. It's a lovely little match. Goes through a clothesline. Picked up. Slam down by Red Velvet. Red Velvet in control. I'm enjoying this. Here we go. Red Velvet going up top. Top rope. Moonsault. Oh, knees up. Knees up by Serena Deeb. Red Velvet's done about 3 or 4 moonsaults in this match. That one backfires. Serena Deeb picks her up, looking for a power bomb. Goes for the cover. 2. Kick out by Red Velvet. Kick out by Red Velvet. Serena Deeb really thought she had had that one there. On the arm, rolls her over, grabbing the leg. Oh, look at that. Like a single leg Boston Crab. And she's got the arm tied up. Look at. Drags her back in. So it's a proper single leg Boston Crab. Such great wrestling skill. Such great wrestling skill. Look at the way she just transitions. Inside cradle. Kick out by Serena Deeb. Kick in the leg. Red Velvet against the rope. Serena Deeb goes right after her and chop blocks. Love that. Rather than just standing there and waiting. Rolls her over again. Goes to that move one more time. Slams the knee down on the mat repeatedly. And now puts it in. Unreal. Look at it. Look at that. That was easily the best match tonight. That's one of the best matches of the week. I loved it. Telling you, if I'm WWE, Serena Deeb is right at the top of the list of people I want to get from AEW. And I'm kicking myself because, she was in WWE. She was a trainer at the Performance Center. Company. So good. Really, really good. I don't know how old she is, so there might be some question marks about her age. I'm going to have a look. Serena Deeb she's only 34. She's 34. She's got another 10 years ahead of her. At least. Oh, so disappointing. Why they let her go, I've got no idea. Such a great in-ring performer. Just think of Serena Deeb against Charlotte. Serena Deeb against Bianca Belair. Serena Deeb against Sasha. Serena Deeb against Becky Lynch. Just don't get it. Just don't get it. Well, excellent. Excellent. Really enjoyed that. Excellent, excellent match. Lister Jericho says you never ask a lady her age. No. Thank God for Wikipedia. Going Ghost said, Days, I didn't get to ask last night. Due to how dangerous Toni Storm's finisher looked, do you think she will be told to not do it again? Listen, I don't think she would have done it without permission. I really think that she will have... It's such a unique move, something I've not seen before, that I can't imagine. I mean, if that had gone wrong, it's just not worth thinking about, is it? Because it is so dangerous. You are literally picking someone up, and then they are upside. Any time someone is upside down, going down to the ring, their whole body weight and the momentum on their head and their neck and you could break someone's neck and they could be killed. You don't see pile drivers in WWE. Only the Undertaker's really given permission to do them. You just don't see pile drivers. There's a whole list of moves that are banned, like vertebreakers, where they're kind of on your back and you drop down and you drop them on their head, but they're on your back. That's a vertebraker. Like those, all of that kind of stuff is just not allowed. So I would have to imagine that she went to Triple H and Shawn and was like, I've got this idea for a move. It does involve the opponent being dropped on their head, but I can do it and I can do it safely. Can I show you? And I'm sure they went through it. I don't believe that she will have done that move without getting clearance. And if she didn't get clearance for it, then I would be surprised if they allow her to do it again. But I would imagine that she did get clearance, and I would imagine that it's a move that you will see again, but hopefully on the rarest of occasions. I don't want this thing to be used every week. I think it is such an impressive move, but it's got to be a move that is in her arsenal. If I was her, I would be talking about that move. Next time I do a promo, I'd be like, now you can see what I can do. Show a replay of it, give it a name, say that, it's always there when I need it, and, make a big deal out of this move, and then have a match and don't use it. But talk about it still. Make it a thing. Make it a thing. Make it a thing whereby if I hit it on you, not only is the match over, your life might be over, and you can build it up, make a big thing out of it, and then at TakeOver, at WrestleMania, whatever, just the big shows during a championship match or whatever, you haven't seen this move in a few months. You hit it, and it's like, wow. It's huge. Huge. It'd be big. Certainly if you've been talking about it, like, for weeks, and you're kind of known for this move, but it's a move that, there's just this one clip of, and then you finally do it at this big show. It'd be massive. I love it. I think it's a brilliant move, but deadly. Good question going, Ghost. Good question. I have to think she's had it cleared. I have to. She doesn't strike me as someone that's really going to go rogue. Do you know what I mean? I don't really look at Toni Storm and picture her just, I don't care what they think, I'm going to do the move anyway. Right, old Boxer Boy is here. Wake me up, Anthony Ogogo. Right, Ogogo versus Austin Gunn. It's Real American Cody Rhodes. Real American Cody Rhodes at ringside. Oh, these damn British! These damn British! Why are they always terrorizing the Americans, eh? Yeah! Beat him up! Beat him up, Austin Gunn! Boo! Hello, I'm the Queen. Ugh, damn British. I hope he punches him in the face so hard his wife spills her tea backstage. Yeah, come on, Austin Gunn! USA! 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 Strike to the... Oh, big shot. Boo! Big shot to the midsection by Wake Me Up Before You Get Anthony Ogogo. Oh, these British. Look how smug he is. There is the American Dream wearing an American Nightmare jacket. Austin Gunn's got over. He's managed to get up to his feet, but he's feeling it. That liver shot doing the damage. Oh, one more! One more for good measure. Wow, there's blood. Where'd the blood come from? Where did the blood come from? Oh, that's cool. Have they put a blood capsule in his mouth? I think they've put a blood capsule in his mouth so that when he took the second one, he kind of spat out fake blood. And so Anthony Ogogo's covered in Austin Gunn's blood. He's got blood coming out of his mouth. That's good, that is. That's nice. That's nice, that is. That's a bit sensual. Did you see Austin Gunn then? He was like... What's he doing? It's like a scene out of Titanic. Oh, he's going to give him one more. No, picks him up. Oh, that's a knockout blow right there. Referee goes over. Anthony Ogogo wins. Oh, these British. God. When are they going to stop terrorising us Americans, eh? When are they going to stop terrorising us? He grabs the... Oh, what's he doing with the stars and stripes? He's going to spit on it. It looked like he was going to spit on it. It was like... Thought he was going to do one of them. Oh, all over America right now. If you own like a British bar or, you know, you're British, I should imagine you're having to hide your identity. You're having to, like, just not even leave the house. It's such a turbulent time in the British-American relationship that I should imagine that, like, British people in America are just cowering in fear. When will it stop, guys? When will this war going on between these nations, when will it end? There's been too much bloodshed, guys. Too much bloodshed. His eye's looking a little better now, which is good. Still doesn't look great, but... Christopher Daniels shakes Kazarian's hand. And he walks away. Kazarian says he knows what path he's on. Us guys, Austin's here, yay! Austin. Saying earlier, Bud, how it's just not the same when you're not around, and it's great to have you back. Much missed, Austin 316, the shining light of the community. It's great that you're around, bud. Batlow, shout out to you. He's wear a blackened hoodie. Okay, so we've got half an hour to go. And we got Inner Circle, Jericho. What's this? I don't even know what this is. I didn't know Jericho. Oh, Sammy's coming out. Oh, picture in picture. Sammy's coming out with his Bob Dylan Subterranean Homesick Blues boards. Overconfidence precedes carelessness. Don't forget that, guys. Days, are you streaming YouTubers versus TikTokers? I don't think so. I mean, I can deal with cringe, but there's a limit. What were the halftime scores? Did we do them? Did I tell everyone to not send them in because we weren't quite that, and then I think we ignored them? That is a heel turn, isn't it? I turned heel. Yeah! Check me out. I turned heel. Oh, you just can't trust the British. You can't trust the British. Oh, if we've learnt one thing, you just cannot trust the British. I'm pretty sure I've sat here and said, no, we've still got a couple of minutes. We'll do the halftime scores, and then we just haven't done them. That is hilarious. I am so funny. And that was all done on purpose, of course. Halftime scores. Don't know. One of life's great mysteries. LSW says heel days. J14 said we forgot to do them. Yes, you're right, Jay. You did. You did. Very disappointed in all of you that forgot to do them. I was sat here and I was like, just wondering why you weren't sending them in, to be honest. But get in your 3/4 show scores right now. 3/4 show scores. It's a brand new thing we're bringing onto the streams. We got half an hour to go. What's your 3/4 show scores, guys? Get in your 3/4 show scores. Big Boy Dally gives it a 6.75. Matt gives it 3.75 out of 5. Bunkers says, I did put mine up. All right, show off. Dylan says 8. Sonny says, you're disappointed in us. Yes, good. I'm glad we're on the same page. Austin said, I'm going with 0 out of 10 because I lost my match. Cheese Whiz says 7 out of 10. Shakeem says 5. Bunkers says 3.89. With all the over-the-top supernatural BS to date in WWE, if it was still the Attitude Era, wouldn't have been shocked if a wrestler had recently died and Vince brought a reincarnated version of them, says Febin. J14 says 7. Jordan says 5. Esteban says 7. Shandy says 5. Lone Star Friend says 7.2. Fabulous Disaster says 6. Heather says 7.25. Spike Hunter says 8. Missed the Show says William. 7.5 from Sean Reset. Brendan says 3.7. Sonny says disappointment out of 10. Adrian says 8.75. LSW says 7. 7 mostly for the Deeb match. 7 enjoyed the D match, says Dave in real life. I agree. I enjoyed it as well. Max 6.75. Laurie says 4.5. Basti says high. Jimmy says 7. Jake Nichols, California Cargo says 3 out of 10. Brad G with a 7. Normal Guy with a 7 as well. 6.5. Colm says 7.25. So there we go. Look, all these scores firing through. And we've got Miro with the TNT Championship around his waist. Looking really cool. It looks great. Miro promo. Miro wants to thank Jesus Christ. Big Boy Dally says, Austin has confirmed that his sister is not a stripper. Oh, I never thought she was. What a weird thing to say, Big Boy Dally. I've heard she's a nun. Raw was better, says William. William, listen, you've probably had a drink. You might be off your face on drugs. I'm really not sure. But I don't know that anyone has ever said that in comparison to anything. Do you know what I mean? Raw was better. I mean, it's got to be... you're really limited with what you can use that for. Maybe the Holocaust or something like this. I genuinely don't know. There's really not much you can use that line reasonably. But if you've said it and you mean it, respect. Miro says, next week, live. Someone's going to get the opportunity. We've got a little countdown clock. See, Reston says the TBS Championship isn't going to have the same impact. Okay, it's Lance Archer that's come out, and surprisingly, these two on a collision course. It does allow them, though, to bring in a new belt, which they love, don't they? They love. I should imagine right now they're all just throwing a party at the fact they could bring in a TBS Championship. Oh, we could have a TBS Championship. And then we could have a Dynamite Championship. And then we could have a Rampage Championship. Everyone gets a belt! Everyone gets a belt. You get a belt. You get a belt. You get a belt. And we can bring in the Trios Championship. Get on the phone to NWA. Have they got any belts? We've already got the women's. What's Nick Aldis up to? Who are their tag champs? Can we get them one? Oh, he calls him the B word, guys. He calls him the B word. You call yourself a monster, but every time you come out here, you bring out the old man. Yeah, hold him back, old man. I'd love to hear Jake go off on Miro. Jake's applauding. Jake seems to be enjoying Miro's best. It's alright, man. I don't feel that Jake is bringing all that much, to be honest. I don't know that Jake brings all that much to the brand. I don't think anyone's tuning in for Jake. I don't think Jake's bringing all that much. Do you remember his promo against Cody? Jake's promo was amazing. But, it's all settled down. C says, Raw was better than the last woman Days was in bed with. There, that line works reasonably. What, Raw's better than Linda McMahon? Looks like there's a lot of alcohol doing the rounds out there tonight. I think you'll find Linda might be advanced in age, but she's advanced in knowledge as well. She knows her way around the bedroom. Maybe, probably because she's so old, she has to keep going to the toilet in the middle of the night. That's why she knows her way around. Right, we've got just over 20 minutes to go. Maybe they'll only defend the TNT Championship at the Super Shows, says Esteban. No, probably not. They'll probably still defend it every single week that they can. Young Bucks against Varsity Blondes, AEW World Championship. So, I'm guessing, is this our main event for the evening? Looks like it could be. Let's have a look. You wish you were with Linda. I do. That's true. Talking facts. Young Bucks versus Varsity Blondes. No one tunes in for Jake, but it is nice to see a legend enjoy his old years being a manager. Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, I'm pleased that Jake's getting a payday. It's nice that he's on TV or whatnot, but I would like him to be used a bit better. I mean, his promo with Cody when he first came in was exceptional. His promo with Cody was fantastic. So there was really great back and forth. I remember when he came in, it was a big, like, whoa, Jake's here. And then he cut this promo. It was like, whoa, no way. It was really, really good. And then they put him with Lance Arch, and it's been a bit questionable for me. I just don't really know what he brings anymore. I'm pleased for him, but I don't know what he contributes. So, I'd like to see him used a bit better. It's not the biggest criticism in the world. I've got loads of other criticisms of AEW. Don't worry. Febin said, Days, what is Vince doing with Lashley? He should be a killer heel like Brock, who destroys others and wins clean. I hope at Hell in a Cell he beats Drew clean. Vince keeps protecting his golden boys. Well, I think we all protect our golden boys. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the triple threat match. I would much rather Lashley was in a feud, one-on-one feud with a really great match at a pay-per-view. And hopefully we end up getting that. I'd like him to get past Drew, to be honest. And yeah, I don't disagree. I hope he wins clean. I hope Drew then has to move on to something else. Bobby moves on to something else. And we really start to see Bobby's championship run for real. Because, I don't know, it still feels like we haven't really got out of first gear. I mean, in all fairness, they have given him new entrants. Like, you know, Titantrons and the Lightning and all this, the Almighty era, and he's got MVP, and they got rid of the Hurt Business. The spotlight is firmly on him, so they have done stuff. But a lot of that, I think, wasn't it done in preparation for him winning the title? So, like, yeah, it's big. It's a, like, you know, he's got the spotlight on him, but just needs a really good feud now. So, yeah, I agree. They could do things better than what they're doing, but I'd struggle to say they couldn't do much better than what they're doing at the moment. Right, Varsity Blonde's coming out. They've got this Julia girl with them. She's been on Dark quite a bit. We saw her in a match. She's good with them, actually. Like, kind of works, doesn't it? Julia Hart. Okay, so Varsity Blondes with Julia Hart. I think they're quite a good-looking package together. Drew beats Bobby at Hell in a Cell because it's Vince and he knows best, says Dave in real life. LSW says, is there AEW Light? Yes. There is. It's the name of their brand new beer. You can get a little bit of bubbly, and you can sit down and have a can of AEW Light whilst you watch AEW Dark, AEW Rampage, AEW Dynamite, AEW Dark Elevation, be in the Elite, play with your figures, video game on the way. You can just live the AEW lifestyle. Right, we've got confetti raining down. I don't understand why the Blondes get a tag title match when SCU had earned it, when they were number one contenders, and they even had to put their team on the line for the shots. It's a good point. I don't quite know where the Varsity Blondes rank as number one now or something. I don't know. Perhaps we would know if we watched Being the Elite or something. Perhaps it was all on there. Michael Nakazawa at ringside. Very excited. He's got a t-shirt on, and Don Callis has gone to the commentary desk. With Hart, I'm getting Glitter Bliss vibes. Yeah, that's a good shout. Alexa Bliss when she first was in NXT in her little blue cheerleader outfit. They're wearing the $10,000 shoes again. Listen, I'm sure they can afford it. The Deordans. Is that what they're known as? The Deordans. Are they known as the Deordans? That's a cool name. Nice chop. Varsity Blondes in control. Double drop kick. If this is our main event, and I'm guessing it is, I'm guessing it's even been announced that it is. It's got about 15 minutes. Varsity Blondes taking the mick out of the Bucks. Nick Jackson trips over as he gets back into the ring. He gets clotheslined to the outside. Setting a foot injury. Hip toss. Can't wait to see the BTE with the wardrobe with Good Brothers and the Bucks now. Dior Jordan 1s. Yeah, I just never thought they would be called the Diordans. It's cool. Is it time to ditch the Fiend character, excluding the fact of merch sales and stuff? It seems impossible to see it like the same threat it used to be. No, I think like Bray, just bring Bray back. And see what this season 2 thing brings. 2 count. Matt Jackson in the ring at the moment. Working on the arm. So Varsity Blonde's in control. I respect the Young Bucks, but not Kenny, says Days. Sheesh. Sheesh. Slam. I like Varsity Blonde, you know. I think they're a good team. And I like this Julia Hart with them. Like, she really kind of completes them. I've always liked their ring attire. Their video package and everything's quite cool. I think you could do some really fun vignettes. Kind of getting like a Saved by the Bell kind of vibe from them, you know? It's that kind of old school, high school vibe. You could do some really fun stuff. Double stomp by Nick Jackson, who is on a roll at the moment. Do you see the Young Bucks' new shirt? It's actually so bad, I don't see how you would buy it. I've not seen it. No, is it on AEW Shop? I'll have a look. AEW Shop. If you're telling me it's so bad you don't know how people are going to buy it, then I definitely want to see it. AEW Shop. Is it the new bio one? If it's the new bio one, then that is bad, and not even in a fun way. I don't even know how I don't even know how I show you it, to be honest. How do I show you it? I could do that. That might be how I do it. Let's try and move it up a bit. There, that one. New bio, that's it. Yeah, it kind of looks a bit... What else is there? Can you... I don't even know what you guys can see. Yeah, it is working. What else have we got? We've got... just old stuff. I Survived Nyla Rose. Is that for the fans? Scorpio Sky, the wrestling savant. Pinnacle hats. There you go. You can get a red velvet one. Have they got a Serena Deeb one? I bet they haven't even got... Oh, they've got shoes. Can get some shoes. Can you see that Sting shoe? You can get a Christian one as well. I still haven't quite figured out how... There we go. I was going to say, I haven't quite figured out how to show you everything on screen at the moment. Let's make it a bit smaller. It's kind of clever. There we go, look. That's better. I've got them more on screen now. Hey, they've got shirts of figures. Look at that. It's interesting. No more BS. Freshly squeezed. No Serena... Wow, can I search? I'm going to search. I think she's the best thing in the company. Serena Deeb. Have you got any Serena Deeb? Yes, you do. That's good. Don't really like any of the designs. The Woman of 1,000 Holds? Yeah, I don't know. I would struggle to wear any of them in a pub, to be honest. It's kind of a weird Indian vibe one in the middle, isn't there? Look at that. That's strange. Serena Deeb. Okay. Imagine walking into a bar with that new bio shirt. I just dream of walking into a bar these days, in all honesty. What's a bar? How did blondes become main event? Because blondes always have more fun. Right, here we go. Varsity Blondes have got an opportunity to make the tag. Garrison going crazy. Tag made. Clothesline. Back elbow. Hip toss. Big back body drop. Matt Jackson in the corner. Nick Jackson in the other corner. Collides into the one. Throws one buck into the other. Collides into both of them. Griff Garrison with a double spear! And the Bucks roll out the ring. Griff Garrison looking to go over the top. It's good, man. It's a good main event. It's a good match. I don't watch much AEW. Where is Big Show? Is he on Dark? He does the commentary on that Dark Elevation thing, doesn't he? Good work by Griff Garrison. Just a reminder, this An Exciting Wrestling Watch-Along is not sponsored by Raid Shadow Manscaping. Speak for yourself, it absolutely is. It is sponsored by that. Guys, make sure that you're buying Raid Shadow Manscaping, yeah? If you need to manscape, Raid is the company for you. Have you ever heard of the product? No. Have you ever seen the product? No. Is it actually sponsored by them? No. But, do you know what I mean? Support them anyway. I'm sure they're good people. Give them a chance. God. Actually, I've changed my mind. Don't buy them. They're probably awful. It probably doesn't work. Coast Maniac says, wait, so $1 into the other, that makes $2. A couple of bucks. Yeah. A couple of bucks in the main event. Coast Maniacs, hope you're well. Max says, Days, trim your beard into mutton chops. That feels like a forfeit, in all honesty. Oh, hang on. Days, play Raid Shadow Legends. It's a Oh, is it a game? Oh, okay. It's a game. You're going to struggle to manscape with a game. John says, I'm surprised that Big Show is never on this show. Is he ever on the Go Big Show show? I don't know, because that's just like a talent contest or something. I don't quite know what the Go Big Show show is. I think it is a talent contest, isn't it? And as we know, Big Show hasn't got any, so I doubt he's on it. No, that was a joke. I like Big Show. Awful booking. Right, Young Bucks in control, and they've sprayed in the face of one of the Varsity Blondes. I think it was Pillman. Super kick. Nick Jackson selling his knee injury is asking, what's he want the ref to do? He's asking the ref to come over. That's going to allow Matt Jackson, Julia Hart, bring in attention. Oh, there's a second one. Why is she applauding? That didn't go very well, did it? He sprays it in Julia Hart's face, but 1, 2 count for the Varsity Blondes. Step through by Young Bucks. Matt Jackson has got it. Sharpshooter on Pillman. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Excellent comment from Austin. You were missed earlier, Austin. If you grow your beard longer, you could be Santa. What do you mean? Could be Santa. And that is a win for the Bucks. Well done, Bucks. Good match. Second favourite. Not Serena Deeb level. Do you want some diet water? Oh, is that something new that's sweeping the nation? Diet water, 0 added sugar. Okay, so we got the Bucks in the ring. I mean, are we going to see Moxley and Kingston now? Are you ever going to do one fight in? It's been ages. It's not been shown. It's not been on, has it? After I don't think it's been on after AEW. They did a show on like Saturday, didn't they? But I mean, obviously, if it's going to clash with UFC, then UFC gets the priority. It is Kingston. It is Moxley. And they are attacking the Bucks. It's time for a post-match beatdown, because it's been 5 minutes since the last one. Sleeper holds. You get a sleeper hold. You get a sleeper hold. You get a sleeper hold. Everyone gets a sleeper hold. Both the Bucks are in sleepers. And they're going to sleep. Can't end this AEW without a run-in. Do you think that's Tony Khan's all he does? The Deordans, one of them has been removed, guys. One of these... both of them. They're taking their They're stealing their Deordans. Get a good price for them on eBay. Taking his socks as well. Why does he want the socks? That is so Eddie Kingston. That is so Eddie Kingston. Not happy with just taking the shoes. He's going to take your socks as well. Did you see the little giggle and the little smile on his face? That was good. I like that. I like that from Eddie Kingston. I'm going to take your shoes, but I'm taking your socks as well. See, if I was going to steal someone's shoes, I definitely wouldn't take their socks. Like, something very personal about socks. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be taking people's socks. I don't need them. I don't believe they go for like high value, but that is so Eddie Kingston. Doesn't need to buy any now, does he? He's got his Deordans. Or he's got their Deordans. He's going to take your socks. Yeah. He's took that little giggle by Eddie. I'm glad they captured that. Oh, guys. Anthony Ogogo against Cody Rhodes. It's about time. It's about time that we sort this out. Special night and time live on Friday. There's Moxley. There's... they've took both of their shoes and socks. Do you want these back, he says. And that's the end of the show. It's the end of the show. It was a pretty fun show. Maybe not as good as recent weeks, but it was still fine. And I enjoyed Serena Deeb and the main event, and everything was fine. That's my song. I would rather watch Smackdown, says Big Boy Dally. Bucks sucks. Big Show is doing commentary for the Battle Royal. Yay! Will there not be Dynamite next Wednesday? Do you know what? I honestly don't know. I know they're doing one on Friday, but I don't actually know if that's an additional show or if it's a replacement show. Does anyone know? Does anyone know? Is it additional? Is it a replacement? I typed hole and it auto-corrected to Hoke. Do you live stream on Impact? No, we don't really watch Impact. I mean, if it's a big show, like a pay-per-view show that's going to involve like AEW talent or something like that, like if AEW invade, then I'm interested. And we did watch the pay-per-view, and it was fine. The Rich Swann Kenny match. We did watch that. I don't know if I'm going to be watching the Moose one, to be honest. I don't know that I'm really that bothered about that. I wanted to see what they were going to do, if anyone was going to get involved, if they were going to put all the belts on Kenny. I've seen that's happened now, so I feel satisfied. So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I suppose it depends what else is on, really. If it's not going to clash with anything, I don't know. But prob's not. Sock Thief, yes. Crimson Rain says 7 out of 10. Logan says 8 out of 10. Have you heard of the Canadian tag team Plued Power? I think AEW should sign them. I have not heard of that team, no. 9 out of 10 says Justin. 7 says All the King. We answered the Impact one. And Washington says 7. Labria said the show was good tonight. Heather says 7.25. LSW says 7.25. Bonkers says 6.5. Wednesday night is the best night of the week, says Jonathan. Shaquem says 6 out of 10. Let Him In says 7.5. Andres Lopez says 6. Shaquem says 6. Bonkers says 6.5. LSW says 7.25. Heather says 7.25. Hashtag pray for Julia. Austin says full-time score 7. It did 9.97, says Jonathan. 7 out of 10 says Dan C. Bonkers says 6.5. 7.25 says J14. 6 out of 10 says Andres Lopez. 4.25 says Going Ghost. Was MLW on tonight? It does tend to be on before AEW, so I would guess so. Sonny, shout out to you. John says 7.19 stolen shoes out of 10. Shaquem says 6 out of 10. Crazy Ginger Jake Holden says 7. It's not on next Wednesday. Oh, okay, so next week it's Friday, is it? It's only the Friday show next week. I didn't know this. That's interesting. Serena held the show together. 8, says Brian. 8 out of 10 AEW wrestlers always look like they're having a great time and enjoying themselves. AEW has a half-hour Road to Double or Nothing scheduled for May 29th, says John. 4.25, still too sloppy at times, says Going Ghost. Fair. Right, I enjoyed this show. I mean, honestly, you know me, I'm going to be very honest. And I enjoyed this. I liked the Serena match. I liked the main event. Miro's promo, I thought was good. Inner Circle promo, kind of into. I thought Jericho, you know, they cut a good promo. First match with Christian Cage was all right. Didn't really grab me, but it was all right. Didn't really offend me. Didn't really push the score up. I mean, I just kind of think a lot of the show was fairly solid, but those two matches in particular, I thought were very, very good. Very, very good. I did enjoy the Serena. The Serena Deeb might be the best match I've seen this week, but I did enjoy Zoe Stark, Toni Storm. Did enjoy that. And the cage match I thought was very good as well. But I actually, honestly, I think the Serena Deeb match is better than the cage match. And I know that's controversial. I'm fully aware that is a controversial thing that I've said. But I stand by it. I enjoyed that Serena Deeb match more than I enjoyed the cage match. So I think this is going to get a... I'll go... What? I can't remember what I gave NXT. I feel like this is really close to NXT. Really close to NXT. I'm actually going to look at my NXT score. Gonna look at the score because I think they're quite close. Here we go. I gave NXT... Where's my score? God, I do go on, don't I? I gave it 7.5. 7.5 I gave it. Did I? I'm just trying to find out. Here I am, look, rabbiting away. God, I leave this right at the end. Did I give it 7.5? Yeah, 7.5. Sometimes you guys pressure me, though, into changing the score, so I'm just looking to see if you pressured me, because you know what you like. I think NXT was a touch. I think they're very close, but I'd probably say NXT was a touch better. But not by much. Yeah. Okay. 7.5, you didn't pressure me. Sometimes I do fall to peer pressure. So I gave NXT 7.5. I think this is close. I think there's really not much in it, to be honest. But I do think that NXT maybe just a touch better. I think that this is a fine episode of Dynamite. I think it's perfectly fine, but I don't think it's a legendary OMG. Wow, I need to jump onto Twitter to see what people are saying about the show kind of an episode. It's just a solid show with a couple of really good matches. And I think as a result, we sneak into the 7s. So 7.25. I wouldn't want to go any higher. If anything, I'd drop down to 7 if I was to do anything. But, and, Austin said he had 7.25 as well. So me and Austin on the same page. Love to see that. Love to see me and Austin getting the same scores. And it's so strange how we have the ability of doing that. Excellent, excellent work. Heather says, I got 7.25 as well. I mean, look at this. We're right in the sweet spot. I'm at 7.25 where all the cool people are hanging out. So there we go. I think we can call this a successful Wednesday night. Right. We're done. We are done for the evening. Big shout out to everyone that joined us. Really appreciate the support as always. We're back tomorrow for Wrestling Escape Pod. We're back on Friday for Smackdown, UFC on Saturday. I don't know what we're doing on Sunday. But we've got a few streams lined up for the next few days. And wherever you are in the world, make sure you have a wonderful evening. And hopefully I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.